Malevolent Movies presents The Hunt for Bad October. Joe has selected 2004's The Lunar Pack.
Hey everybody, and welcome to Malevolent Movies, the podcast, episode number 31. We are continuing our second annual Hunt for Bad October, and we have entered a realm that I didn't know if we would ever enter when it comes to this podcast, a realm where, what is a movie? We're now going to have to question, what is a motion picture? What constitutes an actual piece of cinema? What is the difference between filmed action and what makes a real movie? And I think that question will be at least brought up on this recording as Joe Buckley, who is not on this episode due to his curse, has gifted us, cursed us with a title, a 57 or 58 minute movie, if you will, called The Lunar Pack.
Yeah. Well, Joe had to find a anthology movie that had werewolf or werewolves in it, and he had the
curse of annihilation.
So he was out, banished from his own episode. And again, that was all random, and it was quite fortunate for us to get a nice little bubby break.
Yeah, no kidding.
But I was helping Joe, much like I help a lot of people during these competitions. I just do searches for stuff and I send that to him. But Joe had his accident and everything, and so we gave him some additional time to try and find his movie. And it came down to really three movies. Right out the gate, Joe called me. He's like, Dead Time Stories. Because like that's the one anthology movie he knows, because it has, I don't know if Ryan, it has some clout, I guess. It's from the 80s. It's 87 or something, or 86.
I don't know. It's something that pops up. I've never seen it. It's something that pops up.
It's had a Blu-ray release, right?
I think so. And it's got a cool cover, and it's one of those that, aficionados of the, 80s schlock kind of stuff bring up. But again, I've never seen it. It's on all the streaming platforms. Yeah. Again, it's a cover I've seen my whole life, but I've never actually watched it. Because to be honest, outside of the 60s and 70s Amicus stuff, and then, Creepshow and Tales from the Dark Side, the movie, and of course Trick or Treat, and Pulp Fiction, I suppose, I am not a big fan of anthologies.
Neither
so
am
I rarely seek them
until
out.
The Lunar Pack. Now I'm pumped.
Yeah.
So Joe was Dead Time Stories, and I'm like, so I Googled it, and I'm like, yeah, I've seen the cover. And then I saw that I think it had like a Screen Factory release or something, and it's like, so it's like, Joe, I know why you're saying that, but like, do you know why you should pick it? And so I think we did like 2 or 3 like video calls where we skimmed through some stuff and talked about stuff. And it came down to Dead Time Stories, The Lunar Pack, and Tom Holland's Twisted Tales. There are other movies, a bunch we couldn't find. There's this 1994 Twisted Tales, which I saw a trailer for. It looked great. And by great, I mean bad. But I couldn't find it. They dug through something called Fright Club in 2006. And it was cringy, but it was like, I think it was like 90 minutes. So it's like, well, I don't know if people will watch that. Then there's like the Blood of the Werewolf, which was like an all werewolf anthology, but I don't think we could find a decent copy. Something called Scary Tales from 2014. So really it was Dead Time Stories, which Joe was just like, yeah, it's the thing. And then there was Tom Holland's, which was 2 hours and like 25 minutes. And it had like one segment, I think, for a werewolf. And the segment was good, but ultimately, if you're getting like 2.5 minutes of a werewolf, people might take points away, especially if it's that long. And then the Lunar Pack is very short, but very bad. And so I watched the Lunar Pack. Joe watched Dead Time Stories. And like we knew that Tom Holland's would be a safer pick because it has people we've seen before in other Malevolent movies and stuff. So it was kind of like, well, I tried to dig up the message, but it's too far buried. Basically, I was like, who are you trying to make happy, Joe? Pick Lunar Pack if you want me to be very happy, but you're going to piss off Ryan. I'm like, really? It's Zach, Nick, and Trevor. You got to find the middle ground, because if you can get those 3, you're going to get either me or Ryan. And so surprisingly, like Joe watched Dead Time Stories and he said he was bored. And so I'd never watched it before. And so, I watched the trailer. The production value is great. I mean, for, it's a 1980s, anthology thing. It's 3 stories. So it's like 3 half-hour pieces. It looks great. The werewolf segment effects look cool, but he said he was bored. And so he's like, I think he said, I'm going to go on this with what he thought was the safe bet, which is the shorter, the better. So that was his thinking at the time. So I feel like I got to give guys, don't hate the player, hate the game.
Oh, I hate the game right now. 100%. I hate this fucking game.
Yeah.
If it wasn't for this little guy right here, this little boy Roddy, fuck this. Fuck this movie. I'm out. I'm done. I quit.
Roddy's
My seat
dead,
is empty.
hell.
Find a new fat guy. Trevor's out.
Well, here's the thing. Before we go any further, I just want to make sure I've got everything straight for myself. Joe had to pick an anthology film.
Yep.
And that had werewolves.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay.
I mean,
an anthology film. Okay. That's all I needed to know for my points.
Oh, fucking hell.
This may be the first time someone gets 0 points.
No! Ryan, I told you, the Motion Picture
I don't think
Academy
a film was chosen.
says that anything over 40 minutes is a feature film.
Well,
and it doesn't matter if they used like Wingdings font and they edited this on a ColecoVision, it still counts.
Well, then I mean, that's the thing is anything that's make believe and has editing, does that make it a movie? So I mean, that means Malevolent Movies has opened itself up to. I mean, Google Photos makes you a little movie like every month. I mean, does that count as a film?
Gotta be 40 minutes.
That?
I mean,
if it's 40 minutes,
40 minutes for the pictures.
Better than any of us, that Joe would vehemently agree that yes, it's as long as it's anything cut in a sequence, that's a movie to Joe, and he would laud that. He's probably right now he's writing a letter to Mark Zuckerberg. Mark, congratulations on your 8 billion movies this year.
Yeah, it's like, wow, you're the most prolific filmmaker ever. Well, that's sort of the meat that we're going to be chewing on the bone. We're going to be gnawing like a werewolf throughout this episode of. Yeah, it's mostly gristle. It's mostly just growth. It's just boned and ugh. I don't even want to get into it, but we have to because it's Malevolent Movies, and Roddy is counting on us. Roddy is the only reason I'm sitting here dealing with all the bullshit and going through the Lunar Pack. It's for you, Roddy. So man, I hope you appreciate it.
Well, it's a good cause. It's a good, you know what we should do for the awards show? It should be a telethon to bring Roddy back.
Oh yeah, there you go.
Oh, I'd love that. I'm a huge fan of the Jerry Lewis telethons. You know, back in the day, every Labor Day weekend, I watch a bunch of that on YouTube, of course. And so the idea of a telethon, I'm not kidding. I would love to do something like that. That'd be fun.
Can Joe be Nutty Professor?
Yeah, sure. I want him to do it. Hey, flavored eggs. The whole time. He's just got to do his best Jerry Lewis as the Nutty Professor.
Well, Ryan, you bookend this review, so why don't you get us started here?
All right. And again, right before we kick this off, I will say that the funny thing is, the guy who directed this movie is a guy named Jason Liquori. I believe is how you pronounce his last name. It's Liquor with an I. And while I was on my hunt this year, I did start to watch a movie that he directed, a newer movie called Jacks versus Lanterns. And I will say that his growth as a filmmaker between 2003 and 2020 or 2021, whenever that came out, is not much. It's not much. It's a small growth at best.
A real chode of a career.
Yeah, we know all about small growths here on Malevolent Movies.
Yeah. Yeah. That's saying something.
Yeah, no kidding.
All right. So here we go. The Lunar Pack. Picture going to a relative's house and going through and finding an old VHS tape and putting it in the VCR, and it's got some issues. The sound is a little off. It's dropping out. There's lines throughout. And I don't mean that fun goof that you can get software and put on your videos now to make it look like. I'm talking it really sucks. It's lines and it's
video.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know, the stuff to make it look like, you know, your 1080p or whatever, your 4K.
No, this is real.
This is
really
this
bad.
It's built in. It's baked into the movie.
Analog, man.
This is real VHS quality stuff because it was made on VHS. So picture that as we talk about this movie. So it opens with a title card that says Hocus Focus Productions, which is slightly out of focus, which is fun. Music starts and then stops. So the Hocus Pocus title card's got a little music, or something, and then it just stops because we've got a cut.
Yeah, God, this hurt immediately. like as soon as when I read Hocus Pocus, I went, no, Joe, absolutely not. And it didn't get any better.
No,
this is a lot like Spaceship Terror, but without the violent pornography. It's just it's like it's the editing and the movie itself is just that bad.
Yeah, it's really unlike anything else.
Yeah, it's unlike anything else, but it's like everything else. It's literally like anytime you try to make a video project in 1990s up through the early 2000s, if you did that, then you fucking did this. You know what I mean? If you had 2 VCRs, you cut them together for English class, you had this. You did exactly what this director did. This is an AV project with 2 VCRs. Anyway.
And that's
it's a
how
project.
You make a movie.
Yeah, that's all you need.
It reminds me, it's like a community college in 2001 had one of those continuing education classes where everybody pays $150 or $200 to cover the materials, and every Wednesday for 3 or 4 weeks you go for 2 hours and somebody teaches you how to make a video. And they give you a bunch of VHS camcorders, and your first couple of projects is a werewolf and a girl fighting. That's what this fucking is. That is what this is. That's what the Lunar Pack is. It's not even called the Lunar Pack, but we'll get to that. So anyways, music starts and then stops. Then there's a new screen, fade up on a painting, kind of. I mean, it's paint that was used to make it, I believe. There's trees and a full moon. Then we hear a wolf howl. We then video dissolve to another amateur painting of a castle. And we hear some bad laughter. As darkness, and then a voiceover starts up. As darkness falls upon the castle, enter the tower and climb the stairs. And then we're treated to VHS footage of steps and a brick wall. Not some cool, scary brick wall or mausoleum. It's just a brick wall of like the YMCA.
Ryan is really underselling this. Ryan, the portraits were taking us into this world. It's a fantastical land.
Yeah, it's setting the scene, setting the tone really for the whole evening.
Like I bought in right away. I'm going to a castle. Like
here's how I felt. Here's how I felt about it. This opening, this painting, this world that they were transporting us to made the opening world transportation of Trolland remind me of the sweeping vistas in Lord of the Rings. That's the difference.
Yeah.
Made me long for Trolland, for Christ's sake. Anyway, it's a YMCA that they're shooting this shit at. They're trying to make it look like Tales from the Crypt also. The music then turns circusy, and the scary voice goes from his whole thing, climb the stairs, and come and watch movies with Misty. And then we get credits, Debbie Rochon as the Mistress. Horror fans know her name. She's been in like 250 trauma movies and movies of all shapes and sizes. She is a name in the indie horror community and has been for a long time. But as we see with this movie, The Lunar Pack, she'll act in your project if you give her a couple of bucks. Doesn't even have to be shot on film.
Just look, what do we got? Joe Buckley in the house talking about the movie? Ryan, you're just going to gloss over the beautiful text? Like
it's been a couple. I haven't got to there yet.
Okay,
I haven't got to there yet,
dude. If you're gonna be a buck about this, you can just go.
I'm gonna be buck. I have to, since Buckley's not on here. I got to cover Buckley. Plus, it's been usually I watch this movie right before we record, and it's been like 6 days since I watched this. I'm trying to remember what my notes mean. But yes, we get some. It's all VHS stuff. I don't know how else to, it's VHS fonts like you would see on a movie maker kind of thing. Debbie Rochon is a mistress. Then we finally see who this mistress is. We see Mistress Misty. She's a buxom brunette in a black dress, and she's posing by an open window. During this, we get a shot of her coming out from behind a large door and beckoning us to follow. Ooh, what can we see behind this door? We get some shots of some suits of armor and some battle axes and some maces and chains and a gargoyle owl thing on a wall. And this stuff looks okay, I guess. I don't know if it was on the museum Kind of looks like some of the decorations on the wall at Starved Rock.
It looks like
this.
To me, this was like medieval times.
I wrote
Yes.
I wrote regional medieval times.
Not even that. It's like even them going up like the just plain
The
modern
curved
contemporary brick
staircase.
wall. It's like, okay, you're in like the boiler room of medieval times, then you go upstairs to like where everything is decorated.
Yeah.
Assuming it's all the same building. Yeah, we're just in the basement of medieval times. Now we are at the king's court. We are ready to get our chicken on.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, and it's all the cameras, going, and the camera's moving along the wall, just like that opening from the Tales from the Crypt, the show. Where we're creeping into a scary place to see where this ghoulish figure is going to tell us some scary tales. And then so we see, and we also see this gargoyle owl thing on the wall, which we'll come back into. I got one laugh out of me in this whole thing. The screen then fades to red, and then we get these fade-ins with this goofy text that says, "At the movies with Mistress Misty." At no point is this movie called The Lunar Pack.
Yeah.
At no point is the word Lunar Pack seen, because this wasn't made to be a movie. These were short films on the guy's GeoCities website. And then he's like, I'm going to put them together. And he hired Debbie Rochon and they went real quick and recorded some shit. And he cut it into a movie and called it The Lunar Pack, because all the stories are about werewolves.
But you said it right there, Ziegler. He cut it into a movie.
That's right. Into a film. A feature film.
Yeah.
In his mind, yes. Which you can rent this, by the way, for $2 on Amazon Prime, which is an absolute ripoff.
That hurt me because, like, I always thought it was kind of cool that two of our movies are available on Amazon Prime. And I was like, we've done something, but now it turns out literally anything can end up.
Oh, yeah.
And that made me really sad.
And ours is free. You have to pay for this one.
Yeah, it's a real bummer.
Oh, yeah. Ours is better than this, too.
Oh, yeah. By miles and miles. Every there's nothing I've seen. The Big F, mwah, I love you, Big F, compared to this. I love you. You know what? Spaceship Terror? Go ahead and sit down at my table. You're all right.
I would rather watch Spaceship Terror again than this.
Yeah, because at least it made me feel something. It made me feel disgust. I was like, what am I doing?
Does anyone else have anything they'd like to say about Spaceship Terror while we're here?
No, I cast my vote already.
It's not very good.
I do. Spaceship Terror, Lunar Pack.
Hey!
Fuck you! You know what I want to say? Fucking what's something?
Doll Factory.
Doll Factory? Boom. Lunar Pack.
Wow. Okay, no. Everybody else, we gotta kick Tyler
The
off.
Godfather?
It shows violence today.
That's fine. That's fine. I don't care a shit about the Godfather. But don't you dare besmirch the Doll Factory.
Yeah, that's an actual film, okay?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Stop
that's
killing comedy, boy. Come on.
Yeah. And the people involved in Doll Factory were trying to make it. That's the thing is I don't think this guy was trying to make anything like this. It's all this shit is an afterthought. But anyways.
Every time I saw that Jason Liquori was responsible, I got more and more upset.
Yeah.
Guys, I had a great joke. Sorry, I'm cutting way ahead. But during the last film segment,
that fucking thing.
I started like saying out loud to myself, like, man, this is like a Justin Price film. And then literally I'm by myself. And then I went on to say, you know what? It's more like a Justin Price drop film.
Oh!
And I laughed at my own joke in privacy.
Because Lunar Pack wasn't giving
That's
you
a good one.
laughs, so you had to. Yeah.
I got more laughs than I would care to admit, but I will admit.
Well, I did laugh a few times. Most of it was
You guys
at
know I'm
the
fucked
movie.
in the head when it comes to this shit. Of course, like I love this.
Oh, you love this nonsense for some fucking
I
reason.
get it. I get it too. But I would say there's a long difference between this and a sickness house. You know what I mean? There's just a big. This isn't real.
Does feel
That's
like
whatever.
if we had taken all of the when I was at NIU, we had a lot of practice things where we'd go out with the camera and try to get one medium shot, one wide shot, and try to and this feels like those camera practice sessions, but somebody stitched them together.
This felt like the AV club in high school.
Yeah.
Yes. And
rough.
as that, it's fine. If that's what I knew I was watching, some guy who just likes movies and was like, okay, guy, here's a couple of my things. I threw them up on YouTube. These are my goofy werewolf movies I made with my friends while I was taking these community college class. I would be like, I wouldn't have anything to say. I'd be like, oh, yeah, those are very, very good. But hey, man, I'm glad you've been practicing and trying. But when I'm forced to look at it as a piece of cinema for a competition,
Hey, nobody
No,
asked you to look at it like a piece of cinema.
you look at it however you like.
Roddy asked me to. Roddy said you're in the title.
Stop having private conversations with Roddy.
And the name of this channel asked me to because it's Malevolent Movies.
That is true. Malevolent's in the title.
That's
I mean,
that's the biggest point right there.
but so is movie.
It's not benevolent movies.
Yeah, that's true.
Thank you.
And I will
Zach.
say this before I continue. Because I have a real short bit. You wanted to make me mad with some of these other releases. You thought, well, this will make Ryan mad. This one, I always said, no, it won't, because I figured that this did it. This did it. This did it. Not an 18-hour Frankenstein movie or whatever else. Not even Spaceship Terror made me this mad.
Buck in
This
the
just
house.
made
Buck
me-
in the house.
No,
This just made me I was just like, is this the kind of shit we can get subjected to now? I at least thought we would get a movie, even if it was bad. But now we can get anything.
I have never fallen asleep while watching a Malevolent movie until yesterday.
Are you telling me that you fell asleep during the 7 minutes of setup of a black and white noir film?
I did actually. It was
Yeah?
it's film number 2.
I fucking knew it was.
I was sitting there. Oh, also this was at work. On
You're
Saturdays.
sleeping at work.
Yeah, well, on Saturdays it is myself and one other person, Sean. Hey, Sean, if you ever find this, what's up? And I was taking lunch and I was like, I'm gonna watch like the first 30 minutes of this. Lunch is 30 minutes. That's fine. So I put my feet up on my desk and I'm watching it with my headphones on, and I hate it. I hate it. I'm so pissed that I have to recap any of this, but movie 1 is pretty short, so that was nice. That's my section. And then I get to movie 2, and then I jerk my head up like that, because I was leaning back too far, and I realized I've been asleep for 20 minutes. I slept through the whole second movie and part of the third one. So yeah, that's how boring this. Also, this is the shortest movie we've watched. It's not like I had to watch fucking Lawrence of Arabia and I fell asleep. Nothing fucking
I gotta
happens in
disagree
this
with
movie.
you. I don't think this is not the shortest movie. There have to be unaccounted for minutes in this movie, because when I found out, I didn't look at how long it was until afterwards, and I could have swore it was 2 hours and 30 minutes, and they just didn't count half the time.
Okay,
Yeah.
but this is the shortest runtime, but at least 20% of this movie is just credits in between the films.
That's fair.
True.
So there's really not that much meat on these bones.
True.
No. And the thing is, I have a video camera in my little screening room in case, I have paranormal activity. And the funny thing is, I would decide to videotape myself watching this. And even though the runtime is 57 minutes, when I went back and looked at the video and I just fast forward, I was sitting there for 14 hours. And I just fast forward, I'm just sitting there. So where did that go? It is the longest movie.
I thought you
There
were
is
being
unaccounted
honest
for
there for
hours.
a second, and that freaked me out. I'm like, what
don't believe it. I don't
pervis
believe
thing are you
ghosts.
doing in your screening room?
Just dusting my Blu-rays, really, is all it comes down to.
Dusting
Dusting 'em.
Blu-rays.
Yeah, with the
You know what I mean? You know what I mean?
Mhm.
You know what I mean? All right. Anyway, let's move. Come on. All right. So we get an extreme
Longest
close-up.
episode, Lunar Pack. Let's go.
We got this, boys.
3.5 hours, baby.
No, it's not.
There's an extreme close-up of a fake spider on a coffin as the camera kind of pulls back. I don't know how else to describe it. It's green screen or blue screen. I don't know. Misty is in front of a green or blue screen, whatever the fuck they had at that time. Background of a castle room set. So she's not in the castle room, but there's a castle room thing projected behind her.
Mm-hmm.
And she's got
It
a
looks like a
glass
Tim
of
and
red
Eric
liquid.
bit. Because the background doesn't change at all, but she is clearly being zoomed in and out of.
Yeah,
So she
and
gets
it's
bigger and smaller.
And
It
it's
looks terrible.
just
It looks like public access, like Steve Brule,
exactly.
Wayne's World shit. It's that.
Yeah. Yeah.
But it's scary,
but-
guys.
Well, it gets scary. Anyways, Misty is drinking something out of a glass, red liquid, and she says, AB negative, my personal favorite. You know, full moons always keep me up, and I can see that something has kept you up too. Fucking Roddy. Something about a bright white light in the middle of a dark sky that makes us go wild, affects some of us more dramatically than others. Then she spins out of frame, and we cut to a real set, which is to say a black curtain behind a small table with a fish tank on it, some handcuffs, a remote control, and a single rose. Misty sits down by the table and says this rose reminds her of a friend of hers with a bad temper. She is quite a bitch. Then we cut to that gargoyle owl, and his head spins toward her and goes, rrr, 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 makes some sort of noise, and I laughed. I didn't want to. I'm laughing now thinking of it. The gargoyle thing is a puppet, and it moves its head a little bit and makes a weird noise. And this fucking Lunar Pack got a laugh out of me. It's the only thing I liked. Anyway, then Misty says her friend had a very good reason to be a bitch. Watch for yourself. And then she picks up the remote control and hits play. See you in a few minutes, unless you get scared. And there mercifully ends my first section.
Geez, that felt like it took forever.
It did.
Yeah.
It felt like watching it did.
I mean, you can't what the fuck am I trying to say? If anybody's watching the Lunar Pack, just jump to like 1 minute and 7 seconds as you watch title font slowly beep boop beep boop beep like Tetris onto the screen, and it says at the movies, with Mistress Misty, and it's like I loved it. Like I loved it because I'm like Ryan said, I'm like, this is a fucking somebody's got a VCR and they're doing something weird
that's what it
shit
is,
with video toaster or something. And I was sold immediately.
And that's, it's fine, for a project, but I respect Malevolent movies too much, even when we're supposed to be finding something really, really terrible. This is just not up to snuff or mustard or cut the mustard or whatever euphemism you want.
It doesn't cut the
This
snuff, bro.
It doesn't. It doesn't cut the snuffster. So it's like this is the line in the sand has to be drawn.
It's fucking terrible, is what Ryan's trying to say.
Because if it makes you upset, Ziegler, then we're on the right path. We're digging for gold here.
But that's not help. That's not going to help Roddy. That's not going to help Roddy.
That is a good point.
Maybe
that is a good point.
Maybe. Hey,
that's what I'm saying.
But Joe
took a risk
in serious ways.
Joe took a risk. Almost every pick Joe does, it's something that's already in the back of his head that he's not going to watch it.
You know what? I was thinking about that. This is kind of a risk for him, and I do appreciate it. I'm still pissed at him for this fucking pick. But, he's trying. He's going out of his comfort zone, even if slightly. And that, it's like you have a kid that you're like, all right, I mean, fuck, he tried. I hate the outcome, but he tried. He did his best, and we can't be mad at him.
I don't know if I put so much of the blame on Joe for this, is my thing.
Okay.
Really?
This smells this has too much of Tyler's scent.
Joe picked it. So here's the exchanges. I knew where we were headed with this.
You think it's got that AM stink all over it?
Okay. So Joe and I were watching stuff and messaging each other. Oops, I accidentally just did something there.
Starts strong is what you're saying.
I'm skipping through Twisted Tales. This is the Tom Holland's thing. Looking for the werewolf segment. It's too bad it's so long. And then I said, I was watching the Lunar Pack at the time. The wraparound for this is an Elvira ripoff, and she's feeding her disgusting vampire baby blood. It looks awful, and it's funny. And then I started saying, the first segment is great because it's just a fight. Second segment is very slow, borderline boring. And then Joe was saying the blood of the werewolf looks like it's shot on video. And I was like, yeah, that's kind of what I'm watching here too. And then I go through the details of the third part. And then I said, the Lunar Pack is all about werewolves, is short and is pure cringe charm. I would give this high marks, but I'm crazy. I could see Nick giving it good points. Trevor, maybe good points, but Zach would probably not like it. And Ryan, will hate it.
Nailed it.
But then I said Ryan does appreciate indies, but if he gets bored, it will tank. And then he said, "Yeah, it's a
This
toughie.
isn't an indie.
If you think it's got charm, it could definitely work. But I'd have to leave Roddy roasting in hell. Do you think do you think that's worth the risk?" And I said I've been wrong in the past, so I'd say go with your gut. So I told him it's his pick. Roddy does get stuck in purgatory. If Roddy does get stuck in purgatory, I'm sure there's a story element that could bring him back. And then we have a conversation about dead time stories. And then I gave him my final critical consensus. At this point, it's established that Ryan can't give you shit for picking something that may be more well-known, so you're safe there. More than likely, he would probably give it decent points based on its pedigree, and it is older. You really need to get Trevor, Zach, and Nick. They oh my God, what am I saying here? They are more of the middle ground, whereas Ryan and I are extremes on opposite ends of the spectrum.
True.
So then he said he was going to watch Dead Time Stories, and then he on October 12th at 8:24 a.m. I watched some of Dead Time Stories. It's boring. I watched some of Lunar Pack and thought it'll be a wild card. I think it's a better choice.
A wild card.
Watched some of. So again, he didn't even watch the entire picks that he was even thinking of doing.
It's
he
not even
half-assed
an
effort.
hour.
Oh, Joe will never do it. Joe will never watch a movie unless it's picked for him or by someone else. He won't do it.
Yeah.
I mean, he's never going to watch the Lunar Pack. He doesn't have to because he can't rate his own movie. So he's safe.
That's true.
He's completely
That's true.
safe
That
from this.
fucker. Oh my God. You shouldn't have said that.
You know, the moment that you give him a hard time, he's going to say, "Ooh, my lower back."
Oh, my bottom. My bottom.
I wish he would say his bottom.
My rear end.
My bottom's swollen. My bottom's swollen.
Jesus.
But yeah, it's hard to describe this thing is because it's so much about the visual, and it's a very specific thing. Like I don't even know how to describe some of these things. You know what I mean? That's another thing that makes it difficult because it's just you know exactly what I'm trying to describe, but I can't describe it well. It's just bad. It's just bad. It's bad line. It's not acting. It's not editing. It's a goof. I don't know. We'll see how you guys fare with your descriptions. I don't know.
Well, Trevor's up.
Oh boy. All right. So God damn. So this movie starts, and it starts off like a trailer. We get blood red letters, essentially giving us like a pitch for this short. Over shots of this woman entering a spooky building with a flashlight and a big, like, ornate knife. They say 700 years ago they killed her family. For centuries she has hunted them, driven by hate, living for vengeance. And tonight, for this one, it ends. Dark Rose, 700-year itch. So that's how it starts, which is a weird way to start things. Strong's one way to say it. That's one word. It ends with this blonde woman is like walking through this spooky building. She's got a flashlight. She eventually finds like another lady who's like laying down who wakes up. She looks like she's some sort of a creature. It ends when she stabs her and she goes like, "Ah!" And they show it like 3 separate times from 3 separate angles. It sucks. And it turns out that the lady laying on the floor was a vampire. She has little vampire fangs now. Oh no. They each get some shitty, quippy line in to say as their names appear on screen. Something, "You've miscalculated the time," or something. It's they're fucking terrible. They're awful. This sounds like an 8th grader wrote it.
Oh God, give me more of that. Give me some junior high films.
And like to an extent, I appreciated it. I had a good time watching this. I mean, not like a real good time, But this first one isn't great, but it's probably my favorite of the three. A lot of that is because it's just real bad and it's real short, thankfully. Oh boy! So the vampire is like chasing the like the hunter. I called her. I can't remember her name. I think I get it later. But vampire is chasing the hunter. The hunter leads her outside and leaves her watch like on a branch of a tree or like a weed or something.
She looks like she's in like a rainforest cafe after hours.
Yes, like she's trying to lock up. Some drunk mom is just like looking for her son. I don't know. Oh boy, this is gonna be a good episode, y'all. So she leaves her watch on a branch so like the vampire can find her, like track her more easily. The vampire that is successful. And the vampire very quickly catches up to her, and says, "I told you the moonlight wouldn't protect you." Because now they're outside in like the forest or in somebody's like backyard. Look like Tyler's backyard.
They're just in the dude's backyard because there's a fence and some overgrowth.
And another house with a light.
That's
on.
all they did. Yeah, it's with a floodlight. That's it. That's all the thought that was put into the set.
Oh yeah,
because it was just a backyard project.
Yeah, exactly.
Damn it!
It's a film, Ryan.
I'm salty.
Oh, it's a film, feature length.
Yeah.
So when the vampire catches up to her and says, "I told you the moonlight wouldn't protect you," we see the hunter from behind. And she's all hunched over and spooky like Halloween organ music kicks in. And she's like writhing around and shaking and making noises, and she turns around and she's got werewolf makeup on.
It's frightening.
It's very frightening, and it says, and she says, "Don't be so sure about that." And it looks awful. Like this makeup is bad.
Looks more like Chewbacca.
She looks like a Wookiee than anything else. Yeah, it sucks. The vampire says, "I didn't know there were any werewolves left. Think you can take my heart, wolf?" The wolf lady does a jump so incredibly sick, they show it like 6 different times. She's now on top of the vampire. She's like punching her, just like Ralphie in A Christmas Story was the thing that made me think of for some reason. They're kind of like wrestling around in the garden, and some like boss music from like a Sega Genesis game starts playing. It's what it reminded me of. And they do a bunch of like slow-mo punches at each other. I don't know. They use the same punch sound effect for like every hit.
Yeah.
I feel bad for the ladies because it feels like he was like, "Yeah, let's just do a rehearsal," and then like they finished, and he was like, "Actually, you know what? I do gotta go.
I got it on one.
Yeah, we got it on one. I got something going on tonight." And
that made me so horny. I gotta go home and watch this.
There's even a point where one of them like cross punches, and she takes the hit the wrong direction.
Yeah,
from the
doesn't
punch.
matter. Doesn't matter, Zach.
Yeah.
Ain't that kind of movie.
Doesn't matter.
These are supernatural beings. Of course, their punches could cause
Good
you to go
point.
the wrong way.
Yeah.
I also, I will say, I'm happy that the director felt the need to put down some sort of protective equipment, because if you see
He did.
on the ground, there's like clearly like a mattress or something that's covered in
Under
leaves
leaves.
because someone punches the ground, or maybe that's a supernatural shockwave.
Oh,
It is.
Punched so
maybe
hard.
that's it.
You know
Heavily
what?
inspired
You know
by
what?
anime.
Yep.
Oh yeah.
That makes
Whoever-
sense now.
There's One Punch Wolf.
Whatever motherfucker took Jason Liquori to see Underworld 1, fuck you. Because we might
Yeah.
not have this if he wouldn't have seen Underworld.
And
That
what
is
year
what
was
inspired
this?
him.
This was 2003.
Looks like it was 2003 when he shot these first 2 segments, and then the
Well,
third
that's-
one says
that's also the-
2004.
That's also the year of Matrix Reloaded and Revolutions.
Yeah, 2003, yeah.
It was both 2003. Oh Lord.
Him buying
Oh,
a ticket to
Tyler.
those movies led to this moment.
They probably stole it from this movie. You ever think about that? Maybe they saw this movie. And
Oh, the wood. Yeah.
The
The
Matrix
Wachowskis?
stole from this. It's possible.
Dude, what a shame. And they've gone on to have such a great career. That should have been Liquori's or
Yes.
Licorice's career.
Licorice's,
career. Yeah.
Almost
Jay
was.
Licorice.
Yeah.
The Matrix Resurrected by Jay Licorice.
Maybe he's
Well, I
got
was
a
eating
cameo.
Twizzlers. I was eating Twizzlers while I was watching this. That was the only thing keeping me my spirits up. Was the sugar,
Keeping you sustained.
the sugar and the chew.
Yeah. So they're flopping on the ground. They're punching each other. Eventually, the vampire gets a hold of the wolf and says, "I'll have your head, wolf." But the wolf instead gets the drop on her somehow and pulls the vampire's enormous dry rubber heart out of her chest with no blood or nothing.
That's because the
driest
vampire's
organ
dead.
removal.
Yeah, vampire's
Okay.
dead, dude. That's logic.
Yeah. Why do you think they drink so much blood? Because they don't have
you're
any of their
right.
own.
She was. That's
Yes.
okay. I'm sorry. Anyway, the vampire falls to the ground and literally just blips away like they deleted some frames from the film.
There's like a single
Yeah.
shot of like a lens
That was
flare over
funny.
the body, and then
Yeah, it's like
Yeah.
it's fucking stupid. The wolf eats the heart. Credits. Also, yeah. Why did each of the separate titles have end credits?
Because
Because they were
Yeah. But
yeah,
still.
because it was after the fact.
whoa. Jay Licorice wanted to make sure that everybody who contributed to this got their due credit, you assholes. At no point was it to just pad the runtime. No.
Definitely
No,
not.
because these were shorts put on his GeoCities website because he put the address right up there.
Ryan, you really hung up on this GeoCities thing, and I think you're just jealous. I think you're
My
jealous
thing
that
is
Jay
because-
Licorice was on GeoCities before you were.
No, I was never on it. No, it just proves that these were never intended. So it's almost like I'm giving Jay Licorice credit because these were not intended to be anything more than fun little goofy video projects pre-YouTube for his buddies on his little website. At some point, he got this delusion of grandeur that maybe this would be an anthology, quote unquote, film, and then hires Debbie Rochon and does all this silly wraparound stuff to make it a feature, a 57-minute feature.
Now I will.
That's why I'm hung up on the GeoCities.
I think
I think
there's a
Oh, go
lot
ahead.
of anthologies that are basically compilations, though. I think.
and I
that's-
don't like him, and I don't like that either. And don't
Yeah.
get me wrong, I've been involved in one. I don't like it. I like anthology films that have a one person's vision, one director telling me 3 separate stories, or doing a Michael Dougherty and like weaving them in and out where it's still a vision. It may be 3 stories, but it's still one
Agreed.
director's vision. You know, that's what I prefer personally with an anthology. Now, there are good anthologies where you have different directors make them, but it's still one project. It's not, let me grab my buddy's short film and your short film and then putting them together. And I know a ton, obviously, people do this. It's very big right now. I'm not kidding when I say Tubi is jam-packed with anthologies, all within like the last 3 years worth of being made. There's tons of them. A lot of people are doing this. But still, to me, that's an anthology by definition, but I don't consider it a true anthology, which is there should be a theme and anyways.
Well,
Anyways.
it's
But that's
my turn now.
Werewolf is a theme, by the way.
Well, that is true. That is true. You know, werewolf from top to bottom.
Gotcha there.
So we are back to the wraparound with Mistress Misty. After nearly 10 seconds of silence and a black screen, we cut to Misty, and she's over a wicker basket going goo goo gaga because she got a baby up in there. She again points out, and I don't remember if Ryan made this comment, but she really hates this Rose Lenore, the star of what we just watched, calls her a bitch, and then proceeds
she's
to
a
call
real
her a bitch several more times in this part. Just really hammering that home, and I'm just perplexed by it because it's like I think that they thought the joke is this woman's calling another woman a bitch because she's a vampire and there was a vampire killer, you know.
Well, and it's a female werewolf. Wolves are like dogs. I think the idea is like,
yeah, that's why I took it.
it's
so it was
clever.
hilarious. I laughed.
Yeah, it was fucking
I
funny. Yeah,
Is a female wolf called a bitch like a dog is though? I don't know.
I don't see why not. I'm not sure.
Sure. Zach's a
Makes
werewolf.
sense.
Yeah,
Yeah, we always ask Zach our werewolf questions. you
right.
know.
I
Yeah.
usually have it.
He's
but
got
not
a
right
PhD in lycanthropy.
Yeah.
Exactly. I wish.
But anyways, she calls Rose Lenore a bitch, and then I didn't quite understand what was happening here because there's not subtitles, but it sounds like there's a weird sound, and she reacts to it and says something about like the cat doesn't like it when she uses bad language around the baby. Something reacts in a negative way, and I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's the gargoyle on the wall or not. I don't know what it is, but she says, ooh, so-and-so doesn't like me using language around the baby.
Well, there's
Anyway,
a weird thing. There's a weird thing I picked up, and maybe that this character, Mistress Misty, has a lot of different relationships. She's had a lot of romantic relationships with different characters that are involved in these stories.
yeah.
That's so I keep getting this vibe that she's like, the idea is that she's been dating all of these different. She dates a vampire, and she dated a werewolf, and maybe that she dated a monster cat. Yeah, the mummy. I mean, she references all these relationships basically.
That
her
would have been
exes,
funny,
and they're
though.
all monsters.
She says the Count doesn't like it.
The Count. Thank you.
Oh, because the baby's a vampire.
Because there's a
Okay.
sound that I can't understand. I'm like, that might be a cat. I don't fucking know. But that would be hilarious though, because she does have multiple babies from multiple different monsters. It would be great if she did have sex with the mummy and it was just a roll of toilet paper was the baby.
There you
That
go.
would have been
And that
fun.
would have got. I would have laughed at that.
Look, hey, Lunar Pack 2, baby, we back.
Back in the pack.
Back in the pack. Thank you. This is just writing
Anytime.
itself.
That's real. Usually does.
Okay, so anyways, Misty moves out of the baby shot, which kind of, we get like a stone wall and there's some shit on the walls. But she moves into another shot, which has like a werewolf portrait in the background. And then she says again that Rose Lenore's a bitch. The gargoyle like laughs and nods its head. And then Misty says her vampire friends hate Rose Lenore too, but she's got to be friendly towards her because she had like a great film that came out recently. And again, I think they're alluding to that Dark Rose is supposed to be a feature film, but I have yet to find any proof that it exists. I do see that somebody put Dark Rose 700 Year Itch on Letterboxd. And the description says a vampire and werewolf fight, later edited into the DVD release of the Lunar Pack. And then there's one review that says watched as part of the Lunar Pack, 1.5 stars. But I did see that there is a Dark Rose feeding and breeding from 1998. And it has Rose Lenore in the description. And by Jay Licorice. So I can't figure out where that is. I'm trying to find like a trailer or anything for it, and I can't. But anyways, I think she's alluding to how, hey, she's got a great movie career. I got to be friends with her. She has contacts. Dee-dee-dee-dee. And then the baby pops out from its blankets and starts crying. I'm going to send you guys a picture here of this baby.
It looks like a doll head they just squished, huh?
Yeah.
Here's what I said. I put down. It looks like if you were to skin a Muppet and then dent its face in.
That's fair. Yeah.
What are the lines all over its body? It looks like
I think
chocolate
it's-
syrup or hair.
I think it's meant to look like it's a cracked porcelain doll or something. I don't know. Fuck. It's just dog shit. It's covered in shit. I don't know.
This picture I sent is meme material. There's a meme here. Help me figure out what this meme is, and I'll put it on Twitter.
Yeah, I think that the way I described the doll is gives a fuck. No one tried.
Yeah.
Well, unfortunately, it's
God damn it.
puppeteered, so someone is trying, but we don't know
I
why.
know. It's Jay Licorice. It's his brother Billy Licorice.
Well, anyways, Misty runs over and she grabs a champagne flute of blood, the one that she was drinking from earlier, and she says the AB negative or whatever.
You already used that joke.
She sticks her finger in it, starts feeding the baby. She makes some joke about not breastfeeding it. Ha ha ha. And then she sets up the next film by lampooning the idea that werewolves could dread the full moon, and that we are about to see what a woman must go through to keep her secret from her husband. Misty tells us that it's going to be a scream, and then she presses play on this big remote. And then just kind of sits there like you see play like blinking in the bottom right-hand corner. And then we fade into a classic detective noir.
Spoilers, it's not
Yeah.
a scream. It's not a hoot. It's not
I
a
got
howl.
chills. I got chills.
Yeah, sure. So the next one we start, it's black and white. It's got this like little jazz score going underneath it.
And that's how you know it's good.
Right. Well, because that's how you know it's a film.
That's how you know it's
Well, that's how you
classy.
know That's how you know Jay Licorice loves Kevin Smith and Quentin Tarantino, because he's trying to reference them both. Hey, it's Clerks with the Tarantino surf score, but I'm also going to do a noir with Limp Bizkit interludes from Significant Other.
I just found his Facebook page. He's a real estate agent.
Yeah.
I need to see pictures. Send me a picture.
I'll just send you the whole
Well,
link.
like I said, he's got
Because he's in
his
in
latest
this
film
section.
on Tubi, Jacks versus Lanterns.
He's one of the
I
actors.
watched 20 minutes of it.
Yeah, he's the private investigator, I believe.
Oh, that
Yeah.
says a lot.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, I'm looking at these
Yeah,
pictures.
Mr. Licorice, looking good.
Mr. Licorice. He's got some mutton chops in some of these pictures.
Wowzers.
Mutton chop licorice.
We could get him. We could hold a trial for him if we wanted to.
I do like that, like on his picture. Now we're in full creep mode, but there's a picture of him with like these poorly made masks, and the only comment is like, I'm guessing his dad or his brother. Wow, because it's Joe Liquori.
Jason Licorice. If you're hearing this, and let's be real, there's a high possibility that you will.
Yeah,
you've got some explaining to do. We're not happy.
Ooh, guys,
we just want to know more.
Guys.
Also, Jay, please, let us. All you got to say is this isn't a movie, and it wasn't meant to be a movie. Then I'll let it go.
Don't let Ryan take this from you. God damn it!
I'll let it go.
You worked hard, but there's this picture on his Facebook of him looking like he's racking his nuts on something, and he captions it, "What happened to me here?" And because Joe's not here, I'll take advantage of this moment. It looks like his pee hurts.
Oh. It does look like that, yeah.
Shame on you. Shame on you.
I know. I'm sorry.
Speaking of PP hurt, let's get to this section. Let's get to this section here. So we get the little jazz music. Yeah, you got the horns going. It's a good time. Yeah. And we are treated to, and I think I've pinpointed where Trevor maybe fell asleep. We're treated to a 3-minute and 43-second long introduction into this 13-minute long segment.
No, that's 20 minutes. That has to be 20 minutes.
Zach knows me like nobody else. 3 minutes till we die.
Seriously. Can't do it. Represent. So
that's right.
So we get this 3-minute long segment. We really get to know the ins and the outs of this detective.
Nothing happens.
It's just sweeping shots of this detective's house. He's sitting there, or he's passed out.
I was fully asleep before he got in his car.
Honestly, that doesn't surprise me. It is.
Yeah. I was like, I get
like,
it.
This is exhausting. It's way too much. We do get the title card. It's a Jason Liquori film, a Licorice film. We get a clearly out of focus shot of the alarm clock as it starts to blare, and they try to fix it, but it takes quite a while for the autofocus to get it.
Oh my God. Yeah. Hocus Focus is right. All right.
Maybe that's what it means to have the hocus focus. It's all crazy. And maybe it was a choice. Maybe he's like, okay. He was talking to his DP, and he says, "Look, Dad, what I want in this shot is I want some of that crazy hocus focus." And he's like, "I got you." And then he just fucked with the zoom.
Yes.
I got you, Jay.
And
he's like, "I got you, son. Love these werewolves. Love them."
This was 100%. I bet he was going to community college, and this was his first thing. Because like the number one no when you're doing a short film is you don't start with a fucking clock. You don't start with a this is a no. It's a huge no. But anyway, so he gets up and he takes a sniff of the armpits. He buckles his pants and he puts on his other boot because for some fucking reason he's wearing one. He was so gassed last night. He must have come
quirky.
home. Yeah.
Well, he's hard. He's living hard. He's a hard living PI.
Yeah.
That's right.
We see he pops a cap on like some tequila or something.
Yeah.
Pours that into his his mug.
Yeah.
I see it's also featuring Kevin White in this short film. I was really hoping that was the Bears' former wide receiver, but it isn't, which is a bummer.
Hold your breath.
Yeah, it wasn't. So this happens for, like I said, 3 minutes, 43 seconds. And then boom, we get the title card, sheep's clothing, which I hate because everything about it. For one, the title card sucks ass. Two, it buries the lead. Like, what's in the sheep's clothing, I wonder? It's a wolf in sheep's clothing. Isn't that the whole fucking, he thought he was so clever. Oh, we also see him rack a gun that you can see the little twist that you would, for the CO2 cartridge. at the bottom of the handle because it's clearly an airsoft gun. Happens with a shotgun later too, where it's so obvious. Just don't show the front of the gun, you know. Now we get a voiceover. Yeah,
at timestamp of 15 minutes, 25 seconds, boys.
Mhm.
Oh no, that's it.
Could you read me the sign on the right-hand side of the screen?
15 what?
1525.
Clothing and shoes. Oh,
Read it
clothing.
again.
Clothing and
Take
shoes.
a closer look. Clothing and shoes.
Oh Lord.
And why is the S on shoes, the apostrophe S, like
I don't
slanted?
I don't know.
Yeah.
Do you think it's a
No one does.
Photoshop, like over it to cover like Kohl's or something?
I'm wondering if it's something like that. That's all I can think of, but I don't know why you would intentionally.
I don't think Jason
Misspell it.
intentionally misspelled it.
He was just.
I think Mr. Licorice.
He was too fucking amped.
Yeah.
He was just having a great time of his life, slicing and dicing this flick together.
Yeah, because I'm glad he had a good time. Thanks, Licorice. I'm glad you had a good time. That's all that mattered.
Somebody's
That's
got
all,
to.
man.
Tyler had a good time watching this. Sounds like.
Gosh, I love hearing
I
Ryan
know.
be so salty about this.
I told you the other night that I was going to be
Not
coming in
since
hard
Baby
on this.
Geniuses.
Ryan was devastated when he told him I'm giving it a benevolent. Ryan was so upset.
Ryan sounded so.
Yeah.
Eagle-eyed listeners will know that Ryan mentioned watching this already, and you
Yeah.
just sounded so upset and so downtrodden.
Nick's just had an
Yeah,
epiphany.
because it's
Yeah, Nick, what is it? You found something. Nick just
What is
threw
it,
up his
boy?
hands and gasped.
Come on,
it's
boy.
not that interesting, but he is
Oh,
friends on
no, it's worth
Facebook with
it.
Harry Chinsky of
Oh shit!
Spaceship Terror fame. So
Oh,
Fuck.
yeah,
fuck. There's a connection. We need
We're
to get the
starting
both
to-
of
Oh,
them.
Yeah,
we're
we're
starting
gonna
the
all at
Super
the same
Smash Bros.
time.
arc of,
oh boy.
of Malevolent
If
movies.
only we could get them both on. We could do a Judge Judy thing. I don't want to keep going back
and
to the
get
trial
Kevin,
concept, but
get Kevin
where they
Summerfield
both
in here.
argue. They both argue which one is better, and which one movie needs to be banished from Malevolent movies history forever, and one will stay. And they both need to argue their case why they should stay.
One will be immortalized.
I'll say no nipples got ripped off in this one.
Ooh, guys.
That's true.
Ooh.
You know.
Guess what came out in 2005?
What's that? Spaceship Terror.
Death Plots.
Death Plots. What is
Debbie
that?
Roshan plays horror hostess Mistress Misty and introduces 4 stories about the Grim Reaper in various forms. Oh boy. You know we're coming back to this, guys.
No, Tyler, no. That can't be.
It's sequel season on Malevolent Movies.
It's the hunt for holiday sequels, starring
Yeah.
Festicool. Get your
Starring Mistress
shittiest-
Misty. And guess who else is in this? Lloyd Kaufman. Whoa.
Oh yeah,
Well, that's
yeah, I'm
okay.
sure. I mean, if you,
We
you
can,
know,
he's
call,
been
people
in a
will do
lot of
things for money.
things.
we can call it the
you know.
hunt for the bad do-over. And that way. 'cause it's-
I like that. I like that.
So anyway, we continue with this black and white garbage. And we get a little voiceover. We find out that our tired man with the boot is a private investigator. The name is Jim Stewart. He's played by none other than Mr. Licorice himself, the director and writer and all of that. He was hired to track some guy's wife because she keeps leaving in the morning and taking phone calls. And, you know, women, they shouldn't take phone calls or leave for work in the morning. And
No, never.
he tracks her to a comic book store where she's been going every morning, quote unquote, looking for something very specific, right? But he does let her off the hook. He says, essentially, it boils down to like, look, it's not that weird. Women be shopping, you know, like, it's not suspicious. And she comes out of I do like that she comes out of the store. She had like looked at like rings and stuff while she was in the store. And she's like holding a brown bag in front of her, like it might be full of dog shit, and she's gonna go leave it on someone's front porch. She doesn't hold it like anybody would hold a brown bag. And she heads to the car, and this line really annoyed me because I couldn't tell what he said here, but at first, and I had to listen to it like 3 or 4 times. He says, "I don't think that's the kind of sneaking around the Mugarucci had in mind when he hired me," but he means like It's that mug, comma, Aruchi. Did anybody hear it that way?
The
That
Muggerucci.
I thought it
No,
said the
did not.
Muggeruchi, and I thought that was a separate species. It sounds like something from Star Wars. We get a hard cut. We find out the wife is leaving the office every Thursday for lunch and shuts off her phone. It turns out she's meeting the minister for lunch. They sit, they talk, but our PI, a very smart man, he rules out banging. It's not possible. The two aren't banging. He thinks maybe she's confessing because she feels guilty about all the shopping she's been doing. And I'm looking at all the shit that you posted. Stop posting pictures of me. He's gonna sue us. He's gonna find a way.
Licorice. Jay
What?
Licorice.
The Slenderman Club is not public domain.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
true.
Who's gonna
It's
sue who?
fine.
Jason Licorice?
You can't FOIA this information.
I'll sue him.
Yeah, he doesn't have an invite to this exclusive club.
Yeah,
Uh-oh,
good
I just
point.
I'll
Adam.
sue him for the Lunar Pack.
Oh no!
What if we just started doing
Can you
that? Just
imagine?
adding directors
We
to our group
should.
chat?
They all know
Oh,
each other
dearest-
anyway, so what's the difference?
Dearest Justin Price, please join our Slenderman Club. Thank you.
Hey, you know what? I miss Justin Price at this point.
Yeah, kind of.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because at least there was something to talk about when we watched their stuff. There's nothing to talk about.
At
Yeah.
the very
We have to
least.
make up all these worlds of Jay Licorice. We have to make all this world up and world building what he was doing and his dad making movies with him to make it interesting. The movie itself has nothing going for it. And when I say movie, I don't want to get trapped into this thing. I'm using it to make it easy for everybody instead of AV project. No way by me saying movie do I consider this a movie.
So we continue the feature film. And
Yeah. Roast him. Roast him.
and
That's right.
Gina's waiting at lunch for the minister. He shows up and she tries to give him something, but he rejects it. And he's like watching the whole time. He's doing his voiceover. He's like, this is a voice. She's never given him a gift before. And then he like rejects the medallion she slides him and goes, false alarm. I should have known she's no cheater. It's just so like it's happening sometimes as we're seeing it. Sometimes it's happening after we've seen it. But like it's just he mentions here specifically like that she meets the minister, and for like the voiceover's going for a good 45 seconds before the minister shows up. And this whole time he's talking about nothing in particular, just mentions that they're sitting and they're talking, but he's not in the frame. He shows up at the end of all this shit. They're also at a place, I think it's called Beef O'Brady's. You catch the name of the restaurant very briefly.
Yeah, so I know someone who works at a Beef O'Brady's.
Let's get him on.
So that's what.
Yeah,
Well, that's why.
Get him on the show.
That's why it caught my name in the credits, but they spelled the name wrong. They put Beef O'Grady's.
Oh no.
Yeah, so they really fucked it up. But yeah,
Yeah, I hope someone.
I'm
got
so
fired for
shocked
that.
that they messed it up. I'm shocked they didn't pay
Yeah.
attention to something and fucked it up.
Well, they were
Yeah,
busy with
that's it.
all those fun goofs that they put in the last credits.
Mhm.
We'll get there.
Oh,
Um,
I forgot about that.
Yeah, very
So,
Rectuma like.
What happens next, Zach?
Let's see.
Joe, this fucking hurts, dude.
Another hard cut. And Aruchi is leaving on a business trip in a coat 3 sizes too big for him. His fucking sleeves go down past his fingertips. You know they went to a Goodwill like 20 minutes prior to this.
Yeah, that one's fine.
Yeah, he looks like
He looks like a
the-
little kid.
yes, he looks like a
He looks
toddler.
like Vincent Adultman.
Yes,
from
exactly.
BoJack.
Exactly. And he's just like the biggest coat they could find. He's got a giant fucking, they went to Goodwill right before, right? And he picked up this briefcase, or not briefcase, like a suitcase, this huge coat, this blazer. And he says he's leaving on a trip, right?
Yep.
He's leaving with a bag to leave her home to see what happens.
Mhm.
And it says, and then our creepy PI keeps watching her. And now at this point, it is like not made clear how long he's been watching her, but he does mention at one point it's been like a month or months.
He's got other clients he's got to follow.
Yeah, so he occasionally checks back.
And his own ex-wife.
So he watches her get naked, and he regales on a story of a time that she got attacked. I think 6 weeks ago is what he says. And she was covered in scars, but she's now naked. And he's like, hey, I don't see no scars. I never noticed the mark.
Ooh,
I'm
Jay
like,
Licorice canceled.
how long has he been watching her? He says, I never noticed a mark. She puts on a robe. He makes a very, very good observation. He says, I knew it. She's probably getting ready to take a candlelit bubble bath.
That's right. That's what they do. Those ladies.
Women, you know what they do. They shop, they cheat, and they take bubble baths. Am I right, fellas?
That's all they do.
It's just such a weird revelation for this PI. He's got like what's her name?
Take one of them bubble baths.
Gina bingo card. Like, he's like, oh, babe, take the bubble bath.
He's like, you know what? Women, you know, they can't clean themselves when they're under harsh lighting. You know what I mean? They can't see anything. They got them sensitive eyes. It got to be candlelight. It's the only way.
Exactly. And so, let's see. She puts on her robe. She says, I knew it. Then the minister shows up and goes to the door, and he's like, uh-oh, maybe I was wrong. And then the two have a nice little hug. They have a nice hug. It's just a good little hello, friend. And they shut the door. And now, again, we get some like information that is like, if you play D&D, you know what metagame knowledge is, which is like knowledge that you're not supposed to know as the character.
Right.
And our character has some meta knowledge here because he's like, we see inside where the minister's pulling out his knives and stuff. And our private investigator, he says, oh, the minister's kind of kinky. He either has maybe he's got cameras in the house. I don't know. He shouldn't know what's being put down in there. Doesn't matter. None of it does. So then we see him tying her to the bed. He says, oh, that explains the scars or the bruises. And this is when the husband rolls up. The music kind of takes a turn here. We get like the organs and stuff, kind of like Halloween. And the husband rolls up and gets out of the truck with his bag, his giant shirt. Could be a parachute. And he goes inside and out in, you know what? The only thing he packed in that bag was a shotgun because he knew he was doing violence tonight. Like Joe, when he picked this fucking movie,
I'm going to do a violence tonight.
I'm doing a violence.
Look out. It's terrifying.
Gonna do a violence tonight. Everybody watch out.
He looks like he watched too much Grand Theft Auto. That's why he's got the gun. That's why he's got the giant. He played Vice City a few too many times.
He never had it. He just watched the stream of somebody else playing it, like Joe.
Yeah. So he gets inside. He cocks the shotgun. And he heads upstairs. And this is where the PI realizes he's got a civic duty here. He's got to get in there. He does give this man so much lead time. He lets him. He's like. He might as well be sitting in the car and be like, hey, don't you go in that house. Okay, you can go in the house, but hey, don't you pull out that shotgun. Okay, you can pull out the shotgun, but don't you cock that. Oh, don't go upstairs. He lets him start going up the stairs before he's like, I got to step in. So he gets out of his car. He cocks his pistol and he sneaks up to the front door. And we keep seeing shots of like the minister. And it's at this point, I feel like it's the worst kept secret of this entire movie because it's supposed to be like, what are they doing? But it's like, obviously he's trying to do an exorcism. That's the thing, right? The husband sneaks upstairs, sees the wife in the middle of being exorcismed. And he's like, hey, what are you doing? And she's like, got fangs. She's like, I'm turning into a monster. And he's like, pow. He shoots the minister anyway. And this, again, you see the front of the shotgun. It's got the main barrel, the plastic barrel, and then it's got the little teeny tiny pellet barrel because it's a pellet gun. Not saying you have to use real guns, but don't show us the front of the gun like that close if it's a pellet gun. He shoots the minister dies. Then the PI pops up and goes, Orochi, like he's the fucking like he's in the Harrison Ford movie where he's like, Kimball, he's just Orochi, bang, shoots him.
Yeah.
Shoots him dead. We get a shitty time lapse of the wife turning into a demon werewolf dog. And she growls and then she undoes all of her restraints. Then she pushes over the PI and runs away. And he looks out the window and he says, so all the sneaking around was just Gina trying to cure herself all along. Oh, well, there's always next month. Like, he's like, oh, it's out of my hands. Aruchi's checks won't cash anymore. Gotta go. And that's the end of the segment. So there you go. Black and white PI trash, garbage.
Boo.
Move along.
Fuck yeah, dude.
Yeah, the
No.
If you like this werewolf show, you keep coming to my GeoCities /67455G Wolf.
this.
Thanks,
So
everybody.
I did write down this whole section is 13 minutes and 10 seconds long. And the intro is 3 minutes and 43 seconds long. So there's 9 minutes of content. A third of it is that intro. That's egregious.
Well,
It's
it's
him waking up.
It's
Put his clothes on.
like I don't
Yeah.
even think that's an indulgence for the sake of indulgence or to pad a runtime. I think he thinks that that's important information because I still can't figure out where the fuck he's waking up at. It looks like he's in the hallway of somebody's house. Like
He's thinking of a PI that he's hiding in someone's laundry room.
and it's like I get it. Like this guy, he doesn't really take care of himself
Yeah.
and stuff because he lives a weird, like, night owl life and stuff. But it's
Yeah.
like, so those shots, all of that meant something very much to Mr. Licorice, and it
Yes.
does not translate one bit. Like you just needed to get the shot of him like grabbing his gun, putting on some shoes, and leaving the house, and
Or,
it'd
like,
be done with it.
The weird thing is, like, so we have a voiceover. So usually you use a voiceover to tell information that you're not going to show.
Yeah.
And for some reason, someone said to him, no, show, don't tell. He's like, I am going to do both. But I'm going to start with showing and then I'll tell later. Like at no point does it matter that the PI drinks brandy. It doesn't matter that he's gassed all the time because he doesn't matter. None of it matters.
Yeah.
And also, how long can one person be possessed by this demon? Like, are we to assume she's a werewolf? Because if so, what was the exorcism going to accomplish?
I will say this though, I do like the idea of exorcisms being more than just for demon possession.
Sure.
Like it like that makes I like the Van Helsings, the priests of the world, whatever they be, more interesting because then if they can take all of that away without just
Sure.
killing people, that is kind of an interesting concept.
But the logic leap for me is like, did she get lucky that her husband left tonight? Because otherwise she was going to turn anyway. What was the plan? Was she going
the
to
whole
sneak out
thing is
tonight?
predicated upon you believing that she could not tell her husband what was going on,
And
but she
she's
absolutely
like-
could. She can just tell him, I'm a werewolf and I'm trying to get rid of it. Can you help me?
Well, and like she's buying, like, let's say we don't care about the locations, but she's buying all of these jewels from the comic shop. She meets the minister every Thursday. Apparently, this isn't that big of a deal to her. Like I see my doctor less often for problems with my back. And she has a demon / she's a werewolf. And she's like every Thursday, hey, minister, if it works for you, can we meet for 8 minutes at lunch to talk about my exorcism that we need to do? It just, I don't understand the timeline here. It's
They
goddamn.
didn't have. That's all they had. They didn't have much time to shoot that because they were just grabbing it while they had lunch at Beefo
Yeah.
Bailey's or whatever it was called. That's
Beefle
why.
Bailey's,
That's what it is.
Yes. It's
You know?
it's very long for a 13-minute segment. It is long. It is tough to get through.
You know.
Okay, is it my turn?
I don't know.
I'm back, baby, with the wraparound part 3. Okay, so we got Misty. She basically reiterates everything Zach just said, but with zero humor or substance.
So exactly like I said it.
We go back to that fish tank. It's half filled. It's bubbling. Previously it was just still, but now there's a tube running down into it that either Licorice is on the floor trying to get bubbles, or it's just like a air purifier, whatever you call it, that goes into a fish tank. But it's just murky red water. Like you can't fucking see anything unless somebody can show me a screenshot and prove me wrong. But anyways, Misty kneels down next to her. She says, "A mother's work is never done." And some people say that fish makes good brain food. But I don't, something along the lines of, but I believe that
brain makes good fish food.
And then she delicately removes what looks like paper towels from the
Off
top.
of a brain jello mold.
Yeah, straight up Jello. Like
That's what a human brain looks like, guys.
Nick,
This is
I'm
your brain on
assuming
drugs.
I'm assuming that Mr. Licorice could have very easily and cheaply made, using the same Jello mold, more realistic looking brain. Is this accurate?
Yeah, I mean, generally you don't want to go with like just the clear box of Jello, the strawberry Jello. You know, maybe mix it up a little bit. Throw in some, I don't know, some grape. Try something. I don't know. Don't do the easiest first thing you think of. Do better.
My problem is though, is if the brain looked really good, it would have really stuck out in this project. This is the brain that this project deserves. It should be the strawberry crappy. It should be the silly ass, Jello brain. That's the production value that this project demands. I think the fish tank is a little bit above. Actually, she fucked and she had sex with the creature from the Black Lagoon. She lootsed it.
Yeah.
Which made me think of The Shape of Water. I was like, man, I used to love The Shape of Water. That's a fucking movie.
Yeah.
That's a good one.
Anyway, so she grabs a hunk, drops it in the tank, and she's alluding to there being a baby in there, but you can't fucking see anything in there.
No.
So she goes back to her black curtain shot, and she talks about her baby Gildum comes from a different daddy than the naked latex vampire Muppet. She tells us some convoluted story about how she couldn't live overseas with the previous baby daddy. So I'm assuming it's Dracula, and she's talking about Transylvania. And so she came back to the U.S. For some reason, went down to Florida for spring break. But instead of doing the normal spring break thing, went to a lagoon and met a tall, dark, scaly guy and fucked him. So Creature from the Black Lagoon impregnated her.
It's an interesting choice to have Mistress Misty be this woman who keeps falling in love with monsters who turn out to be deadbeat dads for your Elvira type of character. It's an interesting choice, Jason Licorice.
Yeah. But anyways, Creature from the Spring Break Lagoon wanted nothing to do with the baby. So Misty drops another hunk of Jello in the tank, and she goes back to the medieval weapon wall shot. She sets up that the audience, you guys need something more exciting. You need some entertainment, even though this has been a blast so far, and everybody agrees. So she's gonna pick something real great for this last film, and then she goes on this tangent about how she likes country boys. And I just kind of tuned out. A lot of like country boys, and then she grabs a whip, and somehow it's like a dominatrix thing. How do you like her country boys? Tough and boo. But anyways, she grabs her trusty remote, and she hits play on our last film.
Well, we're going to get some more credits because that's what we needed. More Jason Licorice. And this one is called Crying Wolf. There we see a moon and we hear a howl, and then there's a truck on an old country road, and there's a man and woman, and they're arguing about speeding, and the man's name is Billy, and he thinks there shouldn't be speed limits. And his bride to be, her name is doesn't matter. She wants him. She says, "Grow up, Billy." But Billy's kind of a bad boy, and he's just becoming too much for her now. He needs someone who can grow up. He won't take a job because he doesn't want charity. The job that his fiance's cousin is offering him, or something. Also, he's in trouble with the sheriff, so not looking good for Billy. And all the while, the camera is moving around like it's on a ship in a storm. I don't know what they're doing, but it's just like hovering like it's a ghost.
They're doing cinematography.
Yeah. You need to explain it to a layman like me.
Yeah, you tit. You just embarrassed yourself.
So Billy's pissed off.
Cinematography? Come on.
He's pissed off.
Licorice-tography.
Yeah, licorice-tography.
Licorice vision. Ooh.
Billy says he's going to go for a walk. And he says, "Leave me alone, Tracy," because that's her name. So he walks into the woods that are apparently made of light because he's perfectly illuminated because they kept a flashlight on him the whole time. Weird, bold cinematography choice. She practices saying his name a bunch of times because he just won't stop shouting it. She spots like a critter, and she acts like it's cute, and then it immediately attacks her. We don't see it yet until we do, and it kind of looks like the blowjob bear from The Shining. That was my first thought. And I thought like maybe I didn't go back to rewind it or get a frame of it or anything, but thought, nah, it can't. But later on we see more of it, and it's just the blowjob bear. But she's dead. And Billy runs up and he's scared, and it looks like he gets killed because he gets smashed into the windshield of his truck, and he's covered in blood. Just then a truck full of women show up, and they I guess call the orange shirt glove boys, because I don't know what they're supposed to be, but they're just a couple guys in orange shirts wearing gloves.
It's so weird because they like have at least one police officer shirt that they used later, and I don't know why they wouldn't have just reused that shirt. Are these supposed to be what forensic guys look like? They look like they walked over from the YMCA. They don't look like they're anything important.
My guess was they're supposed to be like EMTs, but try harder. Try
guess.
at all. Anyway, a month later, you see some stock footage of farm living. There's I'm gonna go with Cajun sheriff, and he's on a phone call. And
Cajun's generous.
Yeah.
I believe that
Foghorn
he is.
Leghorn is more like it.
No, say, ha.
Oh, don't worry, fellas. Spoiler alert. I'd recap the second half of this. I got some bits ready. Don't
And
worry.
I believe this guy is played by the actor who played Antonucci or whoever from the last
husband
thing.
Yeah.
Magarucci.
Magarucci.
It's all come full circle. Anyway,
Gabagool.
he's talking to some.
He's fucked some fucking gabagool. Magarucci.
Emphasis on the ghoul.
Hey, scary.
If Anucci is on the side, not on the side, I send it back.
Oh, we're better than this.
No, we're not.
No,
we're
not.
bad.
Shut up, Zach. You know that.
So
Look at Tyler just gone. He just left.
I'm about to leave myself.
Gabagool bits. Fuck this.
You give me the gabagool, I give you the gabagool. What do you want?
Hey.
Spaghetti? You want some spaghetti?
Spaghetti might get him back here.
Anybody watch Many Saints in Newark? Anybody end up watching that?
No, try as they might to get me to watch it.
I'm going through Sopranos for the first time ever right now. I'm waiting.
Yeah, it's a lot of great performances. I enjoyed it. A great movie, I don't know, but great performances.
Well, good. Yeah, we're like in halfway through season 2 of Sopranos. We're trying to get the show done before the movie. So that's one of those shows. That's right. That's
the big spaghetti. What are we talking about?
Bada bing.
I went to go get some popcorn, dude. I'm having a blast with this, you guys.
You left me
You
got
weren't here
popcorn.
last week.
Yeah, some white cheddar popcorn.
Shameful.
I got some popcorn too.
I've got popcorn upstairs with Sour Patch Kids.
Everybody
It's
at
free
home,
from work.
go make yourself some popcorn or a plate of spaghetti, whatever you want, and just
Ooh,
just
give
sit
me a
down
Marie
Marie
and,
Callender's chicken pot pie.
and just hear us tell the great tale of Jay Licorice and
Well,
his cinema
I don't know
prowess.
about that. I don't know about that, Tyler, but maybe.
He does show. I hate this, but he does show some growth in this segment as opposed to the previous two because he tries to have some character. He does a
will
little bit. He
say-
tries to write some conflict amongst actors.
He just
and
tried to make it longer. That's the only difference.
Yeah, I will say this last segment does kind of feel like something we would watch on the show normally.
Yeah.
There's a little bit to talk about from this segment.
A little tiny bit.
little
yes.
A little bit.
Well, and guys, we're
You
going
know.
to see some big growth in 2005's Death Plots. So
Are you?
Yeah,
You'll
like
let
a
me
month.
know. I'll look forward to listening to that.
Yeah,
episode.
in
you are
June of
not getting away from
2022 when
this,
that episode
Ziegler.
comes out.
you're going to eat crow when you watch Death Plots.
Yeah, I bet.
I've told you I've already watched the first third of Jack's vs. Lantern, his latest opus, and I had to shut it off.
Well,
Because it was
that's
too good, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It didn't
You
fit
were going to nut
Malevolent.
too
so
quick. You had to
Yeah.
shut it off. Like, oh, wait a minute.
I remember thinking, wait a minute.
Oh, I got to save it.
I don't know who I was talking to, but wait a minute.
Nah,
Slow
bro.
down, Jason.
Yeah.
But I would say when I shut off, I was like, man, I remember thinking, man, I'm never going to have to watch a Jason Liquori movie ever again. That's what I thought at the time. And then here we get with the Lunar Pack.
Wait till next week.
It's fine. It's totally fine.
And when we watch Death Plots, I'm going to send everybody licorice.
Thank you.
I would appreciate it. Actually, that'd be nice.
I do like black licorice.
I don't like the cherry.
Black licorice.
What, you like black licorice?
Yeah, I do.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I'll take a bag of red
usually
vines,
like
please.
to point this out, but that makes you sound older.
Yeah, that's an old man thing. Sorry, dude.
That's
I
fine,
don't know how
man.
else
Give me
to
some
talk
anise.
around it.
Yeah, give me a big old bag of anise.
See,
I'll eat that shit right up.
you're critiquing this film left and right, but now we're starting to question your taste and
Yeah, your literal taste. Now, I will say
tell
this.
you what.
I do like the
Give me
image
some good
of
plenties. I'll be happy.
I do like the image of Ryan ssitting in a rocking chair with a blanket draped over him, eating black licorice from like a mason jar.
Hey, I tell you this. It's not a rocking chair, but I often have a blanket on me when I'm watching stuff in my recliner.
It's fucking old.
It's a
Rip Van
freaking-
Winkle.
he's naked from the waist
It's
down
got
too.
That's because it's a real soft blanket, and you know what? Every part of my body deserves
Well, he
softness.
keeps the licorice in his
So-
lap because he likes it warm.
It keeps it soft.
I like it to pull. I like it to pull real slow.
Well, speaking of trouble, the sheriff is ready for it. Just then, Billy Joe shows up in his truck, and this is a surprise because, as far as we knew, he was a goner. He sparks up a cigarette. The sheriff takes his lighter and lights his own big old cigar, and immediately throws his cigar away. Dramatically,
He does.
the sheriff ends up accusing him of killing Tracy. He's saying that, no, it did attack me. And
Hold on a second, though. Jay Licorice was writing this script, and he's trying to make this badass sheriff, or whatever he is. And he's like, he's going to light up a stogie. And you know what? It's going to get heated. He's going to toss it away. And he's probably flipping through. It's like, look at this. That's 3 pages later. He's going to be smoking on that stogie on the day. It's literally like 15 seconds later. Look!
yeah, and this might be a good opportunity to point out the setting. They're not in a sheriff's station. They're in someone's weird, like, half-built barn. Yeah,
it's undercover. You can't do it at the station, man.
No,
It's
no,
undercover.
that totally blew the whole thing. So
But we also find out why later. Okay, we know why he's out there, to protect everybody else from himself.
yeah. I don't remember the dialogue, but Billy pulls up
Neither do they.
pulls his shirt up to reveal that his wound is back. He's got a giant scratch mark across his chest, and
The line that precedes that, though, the doctor says, the sheriff says that they couldn't find any noticeable marks.
yeah,
on his body.
no, they healed.
It's half his torso, though. Like, so they healed and they just come back now.
Yeah, no, it's the
But what about the blood?
moon's coming. I don't know, but
Yeah, it's kind of like that old thing on the Wolfman where the 5-pointed star shows on their palm sometimes, and that's the mark of the wolf.
yeah.
It's probably similar to that.
You see? He did his research.
Mm.
Well, the sheriff pokes it and says, "Oh, that's real." So he's got this wound appears. The sheriff says that makes no sense. And Billy's saying that there's a full moon tonight, and sheriff says, "Oh, you're a werewolf?" And Billy says, "Yep." And he wants him to lock him up tonight, or he will kill tonight. He didn't kill Tracy, but if they don't lock him up tonight, he will kill. And just then the sun goes down. And that's it. Someone, please.
That's beautiful.
Yeah.
Although I got this image in my head of us doing an episode of Malevolent Movies where we're all wearing like heart monitors, and so it's checking like our pulse and shit. And so all of our pulses are on screen except for Ryan's. Ryan's is how quickly he's rocking in the rocking chair. So we know when he's not rocking very much, he's upset.
Yeah.
I can't, with this setup, I can't move. I've been sitting here like a goddamn stone. If I move, the fucking wire falls out and it's all done.
Ryan's colon falls out.
I
We
do have
lost
an
Nick.
O2 monitor somewhere.
In the middle of his segment, we lost Nick.
Yeah, Nick's done. No, Nick's done.
Oh, is
Well,
it?
his segment's over.
He breezed
Oh,
through
you
all
have
that
the other
dialogue.
half.
He didn't
Gotcha.
even put
Yeah,
any.
the sun has set, which means it's my second segment.
And he breezed through the dialogue, so maybe Trevor take
Take your time.
Inspiration from that, or take inspiration
no.
from that.
Don't
I will read it
Yeah.
as fast or slow
Read it
as I see
verbatim.
fit.
don't.
He has a copy of the
Yeah, I'm
script
gonna act it
because he
out.
went to he found it on GeoCities. He downloaded the script,
That's right. That's where I went.
so he's
Trevor
just
has
going
been
to be
doing
a
research.
read.
That's right. I've been doing a
Trevor
lot
has
of
been
research.
doing research into movie memorabilia,
That's right.
so he could have a copy of that script.
Mm.
Yeah, I may have a
Little
special thing. I may have a Malevolent Movies masterpiece on my wall soon.
You deserve it.
Ooh.
So the sheriff is looking at some papers, and Billy is his name.
Yeah.
I have his rascal
Yeah,
right now.
yeah.
Billy is sitting around bored. He said he's on the same kick of just lock me up. I'm gonna kill. Just lock me up. They talk about how Billy should just be tossed straight into jail, but sheriff says he can't just lock up anybody I want. Even though, like, I'm sure in this case you could. No one would really mind.
Well, he's threatened violence.
Yeah.
Like that, you can get locked up if you say I'm gonna kill people. That's like the law can stop you from doing that.
Mm-hmm.
Did we
But
explain?
I'm
Did
not a
anybody?
lawyer.
But did we? Because I'm kind of blocked out for a second. I was thinking about delicious black licorice, but the fact that this whole scene is just happening like on a construction site of some sort.
Oh, yeah. So this is supposed to be, I assume, like a sheriff's office. But this looks like the rundown hovel that
Yeah, isn't this like
those fellas from Demons Rook
Yep,
were
yep.
hanging out in.
Yeah, it's like a
I'm gonna
pavilion.
marry
It's like
Barbara. I'm gonna marry Barbara.
oh,
Is that same
Devil's
set?
Rook.
I'm gonna
Devil's
eat licorice.
Rook.
I'm gonna
Remember
eat
that?
licorice.
I'm gonna eat me
Oh,
licorice.
I'll tell you this.
Give me some star anise. Give me some
Let
star
me,
anise.
let me have a blanket on the ground underneath the autumn moon with
Mhm.
Barbara and some licorice.
And you could
It's a
just
night to
slather
remember,
her
fellas.
body in blueberry pie like she makes.
Oh, my blood pressure is going down as we speak.
Remember
But my
last
heart
year how
rate's
we had like
going
all
up.
good movies?
yeah,
Yeah, pretty
Remember
much.
last year where the worst movie we had was fucking Sledgehammer?
I
yeah.
know.
And that
That
is
was
such
glorious.
a good, fun movie still, and that was the worst one.
Well, I'm glad that you guys just wanted to do the Force Awakens of sequels here for Bad October.
Oh,
I'm all in on this
brother.
shit. This is gonna be a Bad October to remember.
This is gonna put the bad in Bad October. That's for sure.
Well, I do like that we've had a good smattering. You know, we've had ups
a
and
variety,
downs and all
certainly.
kinds of stuff.
Yep.
You know, I do appreciate that.
So anyway, the sheriff
But I'm gonna
wants
marry
Billy.
Barbara. I'm gonna marry Barbara.
The sheriff wants Billy to leave. He pulls his gun on Billy as Billy like grabs. I don't know what it is. It's a weapon of some kind. I don't know if it's a baseball bat, if it's an axe. I didn't really get a good look at it.
I
But
think
it
it's a
grabs
pipe.
weapon of some. It's a pipe. Sure.
Yeah, I think.
Anyway, he pulls a gun on Billy, and he points him to the doors. Like, get on out of here. Basically, telling him to leave. But first, Billy whips out his dick and just starts pissing on the floor. Sheriff gets pissed and tosses a plastic chair that doesn't fall down. He like tosses it, whips out into the yard, and the camera focuses on it and just kind of
It's-
spins around.
Such a weird choice to follow it. 'Cause,
So
like,
strange.
It's like I feel like they did it once and they didn't follow it, and Licorice was like, "Are they really gonna get how far he threw it? Like, is the audience really gonna understand how mad he
doesn't
is?
matter.
Do it again. Let's run that back.
It's like when Hulk throws that bench and
Yeah,
he finds out that
In
Nat's
Endgame,
dead.
yeah.
it's almost the same exact emotional level here. Yes.
Well, it's trying to preface that the sheriff has some supernatural strength as well.
But it's a plastic chair, so it doesn't come across.
Not that
that's the
heavy.
thing,
Yeah.
it's a
My
plastic
7-year-old
chair.
niece can throw this chair that far.
Yep.
But
so
because
Sheriff-
it's a plastic chair, it's got that wind resistance, and he's so
True.
strong that it cuts right through the wind resistance.
Sure.
even.
Yes, that is
You know what I
correct.
mean?
That makes sense.
Thank you,
Sure.
Ryan. Thank you for being reasonable.
a rare positive note.
I'm gonna
on this movie
give.
from
I
Ryan.
will. You know how I do. As much as I'm annoyed, I always try to give everything a fair shake.
That's sure.
And I do have a few tiny, as we will get to, a few tiny positive things to say
Well, good.
later on.
Good for you, man.
The sheriff handcuffs Billy to the pole so he can't leave, and says, "Well, this I said this should hold you until your moon comes up."
This is the main water line for the house. It's 12 feet deep.
That's right.
11
Billy-
herbs and spices.
But he's already turning. Billy's already got fangs and everything. He also now has a lisp because of his fake fangs.
Every
I
time
wrote that
someone
down.
has
That's
teeth.
one of the few things I wrote down. Lispy werewolf.
Yeah, it's great.
And sheriff says, "Well, now I always have heard that this here werewolfism is spread by a virus. You see, are you infected, son?"
We have
Turn-
a word for it. It's called lycanthropy.
Exactly.
Come on, Liquori.
Werewolfism. No, Ryan.
He knows
it's
it, too.
werewolfism. Turns out Billy was clearly infected the whole time. So when sheriff touched his open wound earlier in the day, apparently that gave him enough juice, enough werewolfism in the DNA to start to turn him, I guess.
Wait, so
did you guys see-
he wasn't a werewolf the whole time?
I don't
I thought
think
he
so.
was always a werewolf. Yeah, I
The
thought
sheriff?
he was always a werewolf. Yeah.
Maybe. I don't know.
I thought maybe he had that secret, and he's the one who
Sure.
attacked him in
Yeah.
the first place.
Isn't that why isn't that why the sheriff's out here? Like, isn't he out here because he knows he's a werewolf? He's going to turn into one tonight,
Sure.
and
That's
so
good
he's
enough
not
for me.
in town. That's what I thought.
And he,
Yeah.
well, that's the thing is he knows that he's going to turn into a werewolf, and he knows there's this little bit of time before the full turn where he has a superhuman strength, so he's trying to get some quick concrete work done.
Yeah, he
You know,
did
he's like, I'm
say
making
he
the
had
best
work
of
to
it.
get done. He's like, I got some
he's out
really
there.
heavy plastic chairs, and I need to be
Yeah.
able to move them.
Well, this is why we got to
know,
get
that's-
Jay Licorice PhD on the show. He can get
We
straight to
should
the.
let's do an episode where all these directors we shit on have to get together and watch one of our movies.
have
I
to
would
watch Butcher
love
the Baker's.
that. That would be the
They get
best.
That would be great.
Grace's room. That would be all right. Hey, Licorice,
That would
hit
be
us
the
up.
bomb.
Yeah, come
But
watch
did
our
you guys
movies.
notice that when we get the last moon shot, the moon is purple, but also so is the letterboxing, because clearly
Yeah.
whatever editing software he was using, there's an I don't know what you call it, a purple
Yeah.
mat underneath, and he tried to just take out the color, whatever. I'm sure the moon was blue. Well, let's take the blue hues out, switch it to purple with the mat underneath, but then you see the letterboxing turns purple too. So, again,
Yeah.
a great choice by the director.
Yeah.
Really hammering that home. If A24 is
I
going
can't
to be out
blame
there with
him.
all this 4x3 black and white shit, I have no problem with purple frames.
You know,
It's at this point we see that Sheriff has a werewolf arm, and he is transforming as well. And basically he wants to kill Billy so he doesn't have any werewolf competition, like for food.
Mm-hmm.
He explains how he's gonna kill him. Like, I'm gonna shoot you in the chest with 3 silver bullets. Now that won't kill you, you see. Actually, that's gonna cure your lycanthropy because of the stuff in the tips, and so then you'll die from the 3 bullets in your heart. And I'm like, okay, great. Why?
It's gonna kill him. Like, it's
why
such
is
a
your
stupid
longest
and
movie the 3rd film?
Why the complicated explanation? Because like,
It doesn't fucking matter.
the
It doesn't make
it's
a
gonna
difference.
kill him. Yeah, it's
He's gonna die. That's all that
Yeah.
matters.
exactly.
if you're watching Lunar Pack, you know the rules of werewolf stuff.
Exactly. You know
You
how
don't
to
need to
kill him.
reiterate it.
You don't need any more.
You have a built-in audience. Nobody's watching Lunar Pack that isn't A, got the last name Licorice, or B, into werewolves. Either way, you
Yeah.
don't need to explain.
Yeah. But then Billy just kind of stands up and fights him. He was like tied up against a chair, and he just stands up and they start fighting.
Well, he rips that pipe out.
Yeah.
Oh yes, he rips the pipe
12
out and they
feet
start.
deep.
Yeah.
The
more
werewolves
boss.
use weapons on each other instead
Sure.
of their regular werewolf stuff. What?
Yeah.
Mhm.
Why not?
What?
I wish they had guns.
Yeah, more boss fight music starts, and they're fighting.
I would have been okay with that because that's over the top. The werewolves shooting a gun at each other, I would have been like, all right, I'm with it. But the sticks and the boulders, no.
Yeah. They're quickly crashing through the walls. One of a sheriff marches through one like he's the fucking Kool-Aid man. And now they're outside, and Billy's snarling and foaming at the mouth and screaming, and he's like
And that-
clipping the audio.
That foam was thick.
Oh yeah.
What was
gas
that? It's not like he put
I
like
don't
an Alka-Seltzer in his
It was
It
mouth
was
or
like
something.
cream of mushroom soup.
Could be.
That is very true.
Um, then we see a really shitty face morphing of the sheriff into his
Whoa.
like final furry
Shitty?
form.
In 2004, that was fucking Hollywood level.
No. This came out after all 3 Lord of the Rings movies. That was shitty.
Look, he didn't have the Gollum technology. That was all in New
Sure.
Zealand. He filmed this down in the bayou of Louisiana.
Sure.
That's the best that school, which was also next to a liquor store, which was also next to a pawn shop because it was part of a mini mall. That's all they had. And you know what? I have no problem with that because guess what? This isn't a movie. I'm not judging it as a movie. I'm judging it as Jason Liquorice's fun project on the side. So therefore, I'm not going to come at him so hard.
Wow.
I'm not.
Sure.
That's the thing. I'm not coming at him so hard because I can't judge this on the same merits.
Wow.
And hey, for a fun AV project, I'm okay with the whatever you call it, the mind meld or not meld. What the fuck is it now?
Face morphing thing.
The face morph. I'm
Yeah.
okay with the face morph. I think that's pretty good for what he's doing.
Yeah. So now both of them are all furried up. They all look as much werewolf look as they're gonna get. They start like dancing around, swiping at each other. Just
There's some
kinda like,
thick boys too. Like
Oh,
because the
big
padding is
boys.
so thick on
Yeah.
top of the clothes they were already wearing. They are some
Yeah.
top heavy werewolves.
Yeah. We get some Ghost Adventure style night vision cams during this fight as well. Of them just swiping at each other. And at one point, they just kind of start jumping over each other.
Do a little leapfrog.
Yeah. And then the sheriff picks up a boulder, laughs like a gorilla, and is shot to death by a new character. Hunter,
Good.
a roadkill worker. I'm not really sure who this is. It's a lady.
She was mentioned earlier.
Yeah.
Isn't this the cousin?
Oh, yes.
It's like
who's
his
trying
cousin.
to get him a job.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah.
Her shirt
Well,
says
because-
something specific.
Yeah, I couldn't make it out.
I'm sorry, I'm waiting for her to get back in frame. Go ahead, Ryan.
Well, it's because earlier, and I hate that I remember this. Earlier in this segment, it's referenced that Billy, he doesn't like that so many animals are killed and just left as roadkill. He doesn't like hunting, I guess, either. So it's a conservation thing. So even though he's a werewolf, he doesn't like to just eat. Something like he doesn't like when deer get hit. There's some illusion, and that's what this is a callback to her coming in because she says to him, "Don't worry, you only feed on." I don't know what it is, but it has to do with the fact that his personal convictions. He doesn't like people killing for sport or something.
Her jacket
like that.
says code enforcement.
Mm.
Yeah, so it's something like that. It's
What code is she
poachers.
enforcing? I don't know.
Yeah, he doesn't like the poaching and that
The
kind
Hunter's
of thing.
Code.
Hey, Nick, don't move. Nick, don't move. No, go back.
No, stop.
Okay,
Stop moving.
For the longest time, I thought that was the back of Nick's neck.
Me too.
Like he was facing away from us, and I was like, "Damn, Nick! Like, come on!"
I thought so too. Like this is a weird. The Blair Witch is at Nick's place.
I just got a haircut 2 days ago.
It looks great.
Thank you.
It looks
Well,
great.
when we
I
see
think,
your face, I mean,
I
it
think
looked great from the back too. But
I think I'm finally gonna cut the hair. I think it's time.
No.
Oh man.
Yeah.
Well, I'm
understand.
gonna wait. I'm gonna
It's a
wait
lot of
until you can cut this part out. But I'm gonna wait until after we finally shoot the summer thing at the end.
okay,
But yeah,
Get
after
a
that,
high and tight. Get a nice flat tie.
I think I'm gonna. Well, I don't know about that. We go back
Yeah,
to
do
the old style. Anyway, we get some Ghost Adventures night style cam. They start jumping over each other. Oh yeah, he picks up a boulder. The sheriff picks up a boulder, laughs like a gorilla, and then is shot to death by Billy's cousin, the roadkill lady, the code enforcer of some kind. She basically just is like, hey, you should just come with me and eat the roadkill, and that's it. That's the credits.
There is.
The credits have like a running commentary.
Yeah, like the
Which is
beginning of
stupid.
Ractuma.
It's insulting.
Yeah, it sucks. And that's it. So Ryan, if you could please
All
do
right.
us a mercy killing and
Here
end
we
this
go.
fucking thing.
Here we go. All right. So we get the segment's over. So we get a 1 second shot of the floor and a fake little mouse scurries by. Mistress Misty is back in front of that fake green screen castle shot from earlier. And she's talking about being hungry because she's hunting the mouse. We get another shot of the toy remote control mouse. There's more audio dropouts. Then it looks like she is screaming, but it's a profile shot, and someone's behind her with some silly string, and it shoots from the side of her head because it's supposed to be coming out of her mouth. But the perspective is all weird and off, but that's okay. The silly string lands on the floor, and it misses the mouse. Misty is frustrated. She's hungry. She talks about how it's important to be discreet to where you get your meals, like the last story told us. Then we get some more of that silly string shooting from her mouth, because I don't know what Mistress Misty is. Is she a monster? She has sex with a lot of different kind of monsters, and her body can meld her DNA with these and create creatures too. But now she's shooting silly string out of her mouth, so she's some sort of ghoul. Anyway, she finally snares the toy. She picks it up and goes to swallow it, but there's some whining on the soundtrack that stops her. It's her vampire baby. She picks it up. Well, no, I'm sorry. It is not. It is a different baby, we find out. She picks up something that's in swaddling clothes, and she feeds the mouse to it. And she says, "I told you I like country boys." And then I think to myself, is she dating the werewolf from the last segment? And then we see the baby. Oh, I hate that this made me laugh really, really hard. We see the baby. It's a chihuahua. It's somebody's dog wrapped up in the blanket. LOL. It's over. That's the end of it. That's the end of this movie.
I ran to the bathroom really quick. Did Trevor cover the goofs of the credits?
No, we didn't.
I mentioned that
we
it
just
was
said
there.
that there's a running.
I didn't read it.
Oh, God.
Yeah.
These are hilarious.
You want to
It's
go
not,
through them?
though. And we
Me
did it with,
too.
well, I guess the episode of Rectima is not going to come out, because didn't he do the same thing?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And, it's like the credits have funny things. Are you still watching the credits? Are you still watching these? My friend told me to write the, it's that sort of thing where the credits have some sort of goof written into every episode.
There's a crew credit for boom mic operators, and it says, okay, so on the days we actually had a mic, we rarely had a boom, but pretty much whoever had nothing else to do at the moment held the darn thing, except me. I have a strange affliction that causes a humming noise if I touch a mic's casing directly. That's great. That was great comedy, guys. That's so
wow.
funny. Let's see.
It just goes from there. Are you going to read them all?
No wolves were harmed in the making of this film. The actors, however, did have to endure long nights, mosquitoes, a scary rabbit, drunken onlookers, and a mess of other inconveniences. Tiger, the stunt guy, not a cat, was especially uncomfortable with all that crap on his face. But he wasn't pretty enough to play a werewolf. The characters and events in this motion picture were completely fictional. Any likeness to any person, living or dead, is purely coincidental. Actually, considering two of the characters are werewolves, a likeness to an actual person would be quite strange. I mean, really? Werewolves aren't real? Are they? None showed up for auditions, but then again, we didn't hold auditions during the full moon. Are you still reading these? I am Mr.
I
Liquori.
like that. I like that Tyler knew this wasn't his segment, and he knew that Trevor would correctly ignore all this, but he wrote him down. We didn't get away from it.
You may have noticed many less credits than other films. That's because jobs like script coordinator, editors, PA, etc. were all done by many of us, friends and family. Too many to mention, mostly because I'm a lousy typer and don't want to do this anymore. These assholes aren't even paying me for this shit. Ooh.
Get it.
I think that might be the last one.
I think it is.
Yeah, why would they pay him to do his own community college thing?
Hey, is
All wanted me-
hawkfokprod.com still a thing?
I don't know.
If you notice, he did upgrade he got a legit website.
It is. But it looks like he does mostly like commercial photography. Like it looks like he does
Drone
photography and
footage.
drone stuff. Yeah.
One more.
of
Paul wanted
course.
me to remind everyone that tires would not screech on dirt as they do in the first scene. The guy who posted the audio thought it sounded cool and kind of wanted to piss Paul off, so he left it in.
Good.
I'll
Eat
say
shit,
I
Paul.
liked that. I liked that because that is also something I laugh at in movies in general when somebody peels out from somewhere where it's not pavement and you get that screech sound. A lot of movies do that, and it's something that I notice. And so it pains me to say I did smile at that in this.
If you go to the bottom of hawkfokprod.com, you could see the old site. You can click on it, and you can see it's got their pets on there.
Oh, Jesus.
Which I like the pet section. It's got an about us. It's got services. So
Yeah. Let's hire him for something.
yeah.
but he's got to use the same equipment that he used on this.
Yeah.
I don't want to dig into this guy. He's just out there making stuff. And I enjoyed it.
Yeah.
Not for the reasons he wanted me to, but I still enjoyed it. But like, there's a lot of filmmaking people out there, like especially like, I don't know how their polite way to say this, but people who they're having fun and they don't really know what they're doing, and they have like all these like they have pictures of their kids and their pets on their websites, and they make funny goofs and memes and pictures, and it's like, we don't need any of that. Like nobody's benefiting from that other than you. Don't treat your website for your production company like your Facebook page.
Yeah.
Like that, because it's, just to give you a little bit of, advice here, Hock Fock Prod, Licorice. I just, buddy, I want to argue for the many reasons why I think people should watch your movies. But like this website is giving me a bit of heartburn.
You liked the movie, but the website you go in hard. Like, come on. He spent more time on the website.
That is true. Okay. Ryan, do you have it in you to announce the ratings?
Oh, yeah. Okay, so there you have it, everybody. That is Lunar Pack, Joler's pick for the Hunt for Bad October. On a scale of malevolent to benevolent, since Joe isn't here, Tyler, what say you?
Okay. Joe hasn't watched this. If Joe watched it, it would be fucking hard malevolent. We all know that.
Yeah.
But since he doesn't have to rate it, it's benevolent for me. It is benevolent, and I think I'm coming to terms with this, because this is like the third time that like I've been the one that goes against the group, and it's clear. Like if it wasn't clear to the fans already, the Lunar Pack seals it. Like every now and again, as long as I'm not miserable, and chapter 2 or film 2 really tested me. That fucking 4-minute montage of nothing. But I gotta admit, the second time I watched this, because the second time I watched this, I liked it because it's bad. Like I was getting something out of it that nobody else could see. Much like Ryan and I have disagreed on Halloween Kills, there were things that he was getting out of it that he very much enjoyed and that I did not get and did not enjoy. And so I don't question you guys. I have no problem with it. I will sing the praises of Jay Licorice and Hock Fock Prod. I have no problem with that. And I know I'm gonna be on my own. I know I'm by myself on this island. There is this little bit of ice that's melting, and I just hope that Ryan, don't give up on malevolent movies. Don't give up on
I don't want to
bad movies. But you're going to have to accept, buddy, that if it's 40 minutes of things cut together, that's a movie. This is a movie, Ziegler. Dainty hand gatekeeping Ziegler in his rocking chair with black licorice.
I will accept the dainty hands or whatever. I consider it more. I'm clumsy as fuck, but dainty hands, it's fine. But I don't do the gatekeeping. That's my thing. Is I think somebody who loves film should try to find stuff in the crappiest corners and in the great Oscar films. I don't think that people can't enjoy all of it. That's why I always use Fast and Furious as an example. The fact that I think somebody who loves film, it's okay to love Fast and Furious and also love, art films. And I mean, if it's okay, I don't buy the idea of community stuff like horror Community, and you gotta as identifying yourself as part of a genre. I don't think you need to do that to love this kind of stuff. So I don't feel like I'm a gatekeeper. My whole thing is there are certain things I don't think are movies, so I don't, and because of that, and you kind of mentioned it with you're saying that these filmmakers, if you will, who are just trying to have fun. If that's the case, can I really sit here and judge their stuff? Is it even fair to them? Is it fair for us to sit here and talk about Lunar Pack in the same way we talk about other stuff? is this even in the realm to do that? Because I don't feel it was. I didn't feel the point of talking about that first segment with the werewolf people fighting each other, because I don't think it was made for that. I think it was a project. I think it was something that was trying to learn how to edit and trying to learn how to cut things together. So can I sit here and even review it or critique it? I don't think it. I think it's unfair to Jason Liquorish to do that with this. I think this is I could do that with his new movie, the one I shut off.
He put it out.
That's true. That's true. But then again, is it, am I dumb for trying to judge it and put it up to the same magnifying glass that we put up The Nest, or we put any number of movies? Or is it one of those things where it's like, wow, come on, guys, it's not even a real movie. You know what I mean? I struggle with that when it comes to certain things, and the only thing that's come close to that was The Big F, where I'm like, is this even, or even Marty Jenkins, are these even qualified movies? But in those cases, I'll say yes. The Big F isn't, a virus shark, because they're trying to make product and trying to turn a buck, and so that's a movie. Even though it's crap, it's a movie. In this case, I just felt like,
let's take a vote. Let's take a vote.
Is this even a movie worthy of our time to talk about?
Let's take a vote. Is the Lunar Pack a movie? All in favor of saying it is a movie, say aye and raise your hand. Aye. You fucks.
I hate to fucking admit it, because the thing is, as long like it's not, even if it was not intended to be a movie, it checks the boxes. I agree, it's not good, but like,
is this,
if Sit Boys could be considered a movie? I don't agree.
Yeah,
but if
I wouldn't agree with. Yeah, I couldn't say Sit Boys.
I wouldn't agree with Sit Boys is a movie. Malevolent.
Fuck you.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, I fucking fell asleep during this damn thing, for Christ's sake. Like, this isn't even like Spaceship Terror, where it's like a neat idea, like hidden underneath the rubble of a bunch of shit. This was I just didn't like this. Like, I just didn't like it, plain and simple. I'm not gonna wade into this. Is it a movie conversation? It doesn't matter. I did not have a good time watching this. Like, I don't even know that there's a part of it that I enjoyed either. Usually I try to find at least one positive thing in everything we watch. I don't know that I found one in the Lunar Pack. I guess my positive would be that it's less than an hour long, and I was able to, wrap this up pretty quickly in relative terms. But yeah, I'm sorry, Tyler. I can't do it. This is Malevolent.
Whoa. Okay. Yes, I have labeled myself the ambassador.
Oh, I know. And well, it's not like, oh no, Tyler's gonna be upset with me. I'm gonna get kicked off the show. It's like, buddy, I'm sorry. I agree to disagree on this one.
It's all right. It's all right.
It happened.
I knew
Zach,
I was gonna be by myself.
Yeah, Zach, I gotta know. What do you think?
It's Benevolent. I've watched. No, Malevolent. Sorry.
Fuck.
Tyler's. I can see Tyler's face in my mind.
Oh, his little heart just shattered.
My wires are crossed. Maybe it's just because I had to watch so much of this quality of stuff when I was in college, and it just feels like the hours of watching some kid's weekend project. I have nothing against Mr. Licorice. He made choices. He threw this together.
Sure did.
He had a camera he turned on, and there was some editing involved. At this point, all I could say positive is just facts like that. Yeah. Hey, you got people to say lines. I bet you wrote a script. Good job.
That's right.
Just didn't work out. Malevolent. Nick.
It's bad. I'm gonna go Malevolent. I'll just say it. I don't like anthology movies, but I'm trying to put that aside. I don't want that to be the whole reason I dislike it, because that's my problem, not the movie's problem. The movie has lots of other problems. I felt disrespected in a lot of regards. I mean, just the dumb jokes in the credits. I didn't care for it. I feel like don't do that to me. You're not funny enough to do it. Don't try it. This movie is 100% sincere. that's nice. Sometimes, the points work the opposite way, and their movie is real sincere, and it's like they really gave it their all. They tried. They didn't give it their all. They didn't try, but it was done sincerely. If this were like some goof like the Big F, maybe I could look past it. Maybe I could. But this is just, in the most sincere way, a bunch of like grown dudes rolling around in their own backyard.
I think you used the best word of the evening, sincere. I think that is the best way to describe it.
But that's not an indicator for every film. It can go either way. Sometimes sincerity is a great thing. Sometimes it is the doom of the movie. And this movie, if you're gonna be this bad, you gotta at least be trying some sort of cringy humor. You gotta be doing that. Like, I have fonder feelings for the Big F because of this. Like, at least I knew they were like buddies, like having fun, not taking it seriously. And just the fact that they were taking it seriously pisses me off.
Jesus.
So, yes.
Nick's transforming. It's a full moon.
Nick hates sincerity.
Malevolent, yes.
Yes, very good.
Yeah.
That's it. You're the last one.
That's everybody. Yeah.
Well, hopefully the keyword points will be enough to push.
I mean, it is
Roddy back to
werewolf
safety.
anthology movie. I can't. No argument there from me, at least.
But this is interesting. I did not know this because I normally don't like to say out loud what I don't like about filmmaking, and short films and anthologies is, at the top of my list. Yeah, I didn't know that was kind of a consensus for a lot of us. Maybe not everybody. So maybe that should be a challenge. We work as a group to find a goofy anthology that we connect with on a Malevolent Movies level that we enjoy watching. We can come up with like a short little special series.
That might be a fun challenge. Yeah, that might be a fun challenge.
I don't think we should necessarily review all of them. Maybe we just rate them privately and then pick the one that we want to do.
Yeah. That'd be cool.
A little burnout on it.
Yeah.
Oh, you don't
Well,
want to do
yeah,
a
all
whole
the
thing with like
rules
two,
and
like a
shit.
full video intro
another
episode,
events
and then
thing.
6 episodes inside, and then you do a whole big wrap up video episode. You don't want your shit get burnt out on that?
If no clear winner is determined, a 2-man sack race will be held on consecutive Sundays.
That sounds pretty
That's
good.
awesome.
That's a little basketball humor.
Yeah, that's fun. So who's next? Who are we watching next? Is it Zach?
Yes.
Mr. Two?
Believe
Yeah.
so.
Very good.
I believe so.
Yeah.
What's the pick, Zach?
What's your
I'm
stuff?
drum rolling.
What's your
Oh yeah, I was gonna
stipulations?
say I don't remember the exact I don't remember the curse.
Oh, I got you
Yeah,
right here.
Yeah, you've got 3
Good.
keywords, buddy.
Good buddy.
Yeah.
So your keywords were ghost in big city, but then you got the hex of misfortune. So you got a third keyword, which was demon/hell.
Yeah.
So
Look, I want next week when we talk about keywords, I just want to maybe we think back to Joe's movie and we talk about how bad that is, and then I was a little loose with some of them, but
that's fine.
I
we're
understand.
watching a 2012 film by director Jeffrey Scott Lando. If you remember his name, just completely happenstance, also directed my former pick, Insecticidal.
Oh no.
Oh, that's right.
I did not
That's
even
right.
realize.
It did sound familiar.
Legitimately did not realize this until I sent Tyler my pick, and I've noticed it like 20 minutes later. It is the 2012 movie, formerly known as Ghostquake, now known as Haunted High. I don't know why the change.
Lord.
It stars Mr.
All
Danny
right.
Trejo and MC Gainey. So
Is Chauncey Phillips in this one?
I don't believe so.
Zach, you
Okay.
really dropped the
All right.
ball because I was telling Tyler there's a movie that is your perfect exact keywords, and it is called Ghostbusters. And I wish you
I
would have picked it
know.
because I want to
I
watch
gen-
Ghostbusters.
So genuinely, Tyler had texted me about it, and it was floated the idea of doing the 2016 Ghostbusters, but I just too many reviews on IMDb.
Sure.
Much going on there. I looked so long for like a Ghostbusters knockoff to see if I could find something that was worth
I
watching.
think we all would have enjoyed it.
I know, but I think this is going to be more. This is going to be interesting because we've had like good movies. Now we've had shit movies. This one's going to land smack dab in the middle, I believe.
Well, I'm excited by the fact that it's an insecticidal guy at the very least. So.
Yes, I was pumped when I found that out.
Was it the same film school production or
No, I don't believe so. I think this is
the Canadian something or other?
An advancement of his career, I believe. So, yes,
All
I'm
right.
excited. It's fun. It's stupid, but it's fun.
It looked pretty
Well,
stupid.
good.
That sounds
We'll see.
Great.
What a loaded episode.
Yeah, it was a good episode.
It was a
Mixing
good
it
one.
up. Yeah, mixing it up.
Great pick, Joe.
Yeah, stellar pick. Way to watch this whole thing before you picked it.
Pisses me off.